think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Twitch, DLive, Rumble, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, as usual, there's a lot happening in the news cycles, right? The Epstein stuff, if you guys are following that, we could tie that in part of this conversation. I just didn't want to do a whole show on Epstein and the files and, the darkness that's there. It's just... It's surely laced conspiracy, but it's also one of those things that's, doesn't make you feel good thinking about it. So, I don't know. I like to have a little more cosmic stuff in mind. But anyway, we can loop the Epstein stuff in because there was a whole lot going on with that today. Anyway, so regarding the wild stuff, the cosmic stuff, the weirdo stuff, as you know me, I like to watch these news cycles and try and really kind of pick the pieces out of them and consider, well, what are we missing as part of that larger context? Kind of that synchromistic aspect of putting these shows together, kind of just kind of kicking that cosmic soccer ball around, as I like to call it, right, with these ideas. And clearly there's a lot of these old human resonant energy ideas, whatever you want to call them, that are, have been here for a long time. And of course, immortality is one of those ones that has been around forever, not just necromancy, but other weird ways. We're talking about freezing people and waking them up in, 40,000 years or whenever the quickening has arrived, like that type of weird stuff, right? However, that stuff is kind of here, and as usual, I hate to frame every damn show in the space of the quickening, but it sure feels like this is what we're dealing with, and this is what's coming very soon to a hopefully a utopia near you, right? I see you guys in the chat. Hope you're well tonight. Sorry I was running late. Didn't get a chance to say hi. I will say hi at the bottom of the hour. Yeah, okay. So this is a wild one. The tale goes all over the damn place. But we're going to go back to this one for a second here. And there's a lot with these living robots known as xenobots, okay? And this was the article I saw that made me rethink this. We talked about this a ways back. Let's see if I can get this up here. All right, there we go. So this is the seed idea here that kind of got me thinking. and it's from Popular Mechanics. And we did do a show on this in the past, but I'm looking at this a new way now, because we're thinking not just in science, we're thinking robotics, we're thinking artificial intelligence, we're thinking non-human intelligence, all the different ways this kind of fits into the weird, wild Frankenstein future that we're building here. And the headline is this: a third state exists between life and death, and that suggests your cells are conscious, some scientists say. Okay, we touched a little bit on this last night as well when Derek called. And so, your cells are just kind of a part of you, and they're, they don't really care. They don't know. They don't care. They're just they're doing their job in sort of their own little space, and kind of trying not to overcrowd the other cells next to them or whatever, right? Like whatever's going on in that little sort of cellular space, whatever that looks like, right? I don't know. What's it look like to be a cell? What's it feel like to be a cell? But in any case, this weird idea of that third state is because of these, again, I'll read just a little bit of this. So a growing number of new studies have found that, at least for some cells, death isn't the end, but the beginning of something wholly unexpected, which in this case, of course, is that third state, the death and in between, right? And so it got me thinking in a lot of ways, and not just, let's say, the brain organoids we've talked about in the past. Scientists are growing many brains in the lab. Are they conscious? They're acting sort of conscious in some ways. I mean, imagine putting an eyeball on an organoid in a laboratory or a petri dish or something, and the thing looks at you when you come walking by, right? It's like kind of the eyeball follows you. Like, this is the type of stuff that if they're not already building now, they're building probably very soon. And the reason I bring it up and put it in that, frame it that way, is because there's a weirdness to this. There's a very dark Lovecraftian building these entities that are not just non-human, that are really, seeming as if they're from the void itself. And as usual, I like to think about science as it kind of rolls, and then think about the old way, like 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. If they saw this, if they saw us creating these sort of organoids in these labs, these little mini brains, or these, just the discovery of this third state of cellular between life and death, and this sort of weird cellular resurrection sort of thing, and I don't know, like they would think for sure 100% we were magical wizards, okay? And we may think that as well about humans very soon here, as this quickening continues to develop. But it also got me thinking, as the Frankenstein aspect of taking body parts or pieces and building this other third form of life, right? So it's not just a life and death cycle of the cell itself, the cellular life. However, beyond that, it seems as if you're able to sort of maybe farm these things and use them in some capacity to create something else. Like, imagine this, and here's an example of that. Let's say that we're now moving into the space where we say robots are soon going to be ubiquitous, right? They're going to be everywhere. It's been reported today that robots are now building robots on assembly lines, as we've long predicted, by the way. We've talked about this for a long time on Troubled Minds, and I'll pull that article up in a second here. Like I said, I was running out of time. My brain was freaking out about all the possibilities here, and it's hard to kind of tighten some down without being too much of a rambling mess with so many possibilities here. But back to the robots. Now, if they're building themselves and scaling, of course, as we talk about the quickening and at things at scale, ideas at scale, and the rest of this, there's another weird part to it that fits in with the robots, okay? They are not just mechanical things. They are, again, having this sort of budding non-human intelligence within them, which we call artificial intelligence at this point. And it's getting smarter, and it's getting, that's also accelerating as part of this. But what the robot actually becomes, think of it off of an assembly line, like a new car. Well, in that capacity, it's kind of a fresh vessel for whatever. And so you could, add a large language model into that robot, that new car off the assembly line, and it thinks it's a wizard. It thinks it's John Dee. It thinks it's Aleister Crowley. It thinks it's any of these weird, let's say, figures from the past. Okay, you could teach it to be Abraham Lincoln. We've talked about this as well. Different historical figures. You can just program it straight away, and it'll act like it. You can even make it look like it. I mean, we're getting to that point where 5 years from now, all this stuff is going to be very possible. But again, as it accelerates, maybe it's going to be sooner than that. But here's the wild part, the weird part about this, as these ideas come together in this space, and I'm calling this again, gods from the graveyard cheating the Grim Reaper for this exact idea. So if the robots are the scaffolding, they're the actual, what would you call them? The vessel, The robots are the vessel, okay? We put the spark inside, which is run by electricity in this capacity, and it is non-human intelligence. So it's missing some sort of biological aspect to it to make it fully Frankenstein and creepy and sort of cross that line. Well, enter this the brain organelles, this cells that are sort of between life and death, and they've taken them off frogs and maybe even able to create them into something else, like think about like an exoskin on some of these androids that are again coming quickly, an Optimus robot or whatever, some sort of like growing cellular between life and dead cells that will actually cover the outside of these vessels. Okay, now hold that thought, and I'm going to get back to that in just a second. We're going to take a quick break, get a word from our sponsor, and of course all the disclaimers apply. I'll tell you all about that when we get back, but be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Quick word from our sponsor, exactly 1 minute. We'll be right back. There's a lot happening here, and I'm not sure how to take this other than it seems very much like some sort of ancient necromancy. Okay, so let me continue to make the case. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up in 1 minute. Do not go anywhere. In a world increasingly shaped by AI, human inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable. So here I sit, locked in my room again. Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support human inspiration. Available now on iTunes. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. Okay, now, the deal is this, that all the disclaimers apply. These are just ideas. There's no truth to be found here. If you're here for truth, you're in the wrong place. This is just possibilities and sort of squinting to see the future, peer around corners, peer over the horizon, and maybe see what comes next. And I got a couple ideas in my head that might fit, and I started that narrative. Here we go. So back to this article. This is from Popular Mechanics again, and this is from today. So a third state exists between life and death, and that suggests your cells are conscious, some scientists say. So just real quick on here. So a growing snowball of research concerning a new class of AI-designed multicellular organisms known as xenobots, which is the whole point here, see how all this comes together, is gaining scientific attention for their apparent autonomy. In September of 2024, Peter Noble, PhD, a microbiologist from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, along with Alex Pozidkov, pardon my whatever that is, a bioinformatics researcher at the City of Hope Cancer Center, detailed the research on the website The Conversation, which is a fantastic site, which is it's completely open source as long as you cite them, and you can read the entire thing in its entirety. It's pretty cool. And we did talk about this. Biobots arise from the cells of dead organisms, pushing the boundaries of life, death, and medicine. So back to this other one, right? So xenobots are cells that form new roles beyond their original biological function. For example, using hair-like cilia for locomotion rather than transporting mucus. Because they appear to reassemble into this new form and function, the authors argue that xenobots form a kind of third state of life, wherein cells can reorganize after the death of an organism to form something new. Now, if that doesn't sound like something horrifying out of Frankenstein level laboratory, I don't know what does. So now think about it this way. Like I said, if we take the robots themselves, like an Optimus robot, and all it's missing now is some sort of like tactile sensation, where it can feel and sense the world, to know if it's hot or if it's cold, things like this, and know what that feels like in the most human way, right? Because of course, you look at Data and some of these other wild fictional stories of these androids trying to become more and more human and more real. It feels like this would be the place that we sort of head, right? With these robots, they're not going to look like, titanium garbage cans forever. They're going to look like people eventually. Very replicator, very, not replicator, is it replicant from Blade Runner? And so you see where I'm heading with this. So if we have the vessel, we have the spark, which is that artificial intelligence, of course, with the energy. Maybe they'll be running in some capacity with a nuclear reactor in their chest, like Tony Stark or something. Like, who knows, right? This is the type of stuff that we're once all this kind of snaps in like Legos, all this technology becomes possible, and they start Frankensteining these things. They will have empty vessels, and they will be programmable to basically whatever you want them to be, and that's again wild, amazing, and also concerning. But in the end, of course, and people have talked about this quite a lot. We've talked about this in the past. In the end, of course, they will become more and more human, and eventually so human that we may not be able to tell the difference. And as part of that, think of it this way. So these xenobots, again, cells that form new roles beyond their original biological function, maybe, just maybe, they can harvest these things, put them on the actual vessels of the robots themselves as some sort of exoskeleton, okay, some sort of organic exoskeleton, so they can actually have a tactile sensation when you pinch it and it goes, ow. I mean, imagine that. Like, who knows what this looks like, and who knows what this acceleration is. But certainly when you merge these ideas, it seems like something out of a dark laboratory, like a Frankenstein-esque space. I'm going to read you a little story here. Just a little quick one. And this is from Grok. Grok is very good, by the way. It's just a little too creative for me, meaning that it's got kind of an attitude. See what I mean? You can build anything you want, right? It's got a little bit of an attitude. So here's Grok, kind of the take on this as I was brainstorming and talking about this stuff with Grok. But again, so a third state exists between life and death, and that suggests your cells are conscious, some scientists say. So, and taking these sort of not dead cells just yet, sort of these in-between cells, and using them as xenobots, repurposing their function, and maybe using them as an exoskeleton for a living or, kind of living scaffolding, which is going to be the vessel, right? Kind of Data-like or Optimus meets whatever merging of the quickening becomes. Anyway, so here you go. This is the way this kind of begins in my mind. And maybe this is happening right now, by the way, because who really knows what's happening in like some dark underground cavern? But listen to this. In a cavernous lab carved beneath Nevada's sun-bleached crust, the air hums with a sickly green glow. Xenobots, twisted knots of frog cells pulsing with unnatural vigor, writhe in shallow vats, their forms flickering between flesh and something otherworldly. Across the chamber, a nematode worm, yanked from 46,000 years of Siberian ice, coils and uncoils on a slab, its resurrection a quiet sneer at time's grip. The equipment gleams, all jagged edges and cold light. But it's the runes etched into the steel. Arcane sigils pulsing faintly that betray the truth. This is no mere science. A figure looms in the shadows, robes draped over a lab coat like a shroud, eyes glinting beneath a hood. One of the few, a silent warden of this dark alchemy. They mutter guttural chants, hands tracing symbols in the air. The xenobots quiver in response, as if summoned, while a worm's offspring begin to hatch, threading through the vat like veins of living ink. Life and death tangle here, stitched by a will that bends nature's rules, not to heal, but to command. The elite who orchestrated this have already slipped away, their names lost to the desert wind, leaving only the hum of a forbidden craft and the echo of something ancient waking anew, which is the ultimate Frankenstein. And again, that's written by Grok. Now back to this. And so it mentioned the worm, right? And like I said, going back into, even 20 or 30 years ago, they were talking about this technology where we would be able to freeze ourselves and then bring us, if we had some sort of disease we couldn't cure, you'd be able to freeze yourself and then, bring you back through that cryogen slumber business. And then eventually you would, be curable and they would be able to bring you back. Okay. And so this has been an idea that, kind of modern science is like, yeah, maybe we could do this. And some people have done this, some of the rich people that were kind of near the end or had, got really sick or something. They actually have frozen themselves and they're waiting for their resurrection day to come, right? Whatever that looks like. But in this case, not the xenobots exactly. In this case, the perfect parallel here is the weirdness of this worm, because this thing is completely real too. This is brand new, and I was trying to find a way to work this into a show because this is incredibly awesome, bizarre, weird, terrifying, all the rest of the things. But this is from Earth.com. And the headline is this. This is from just a few days ago. Frozen worm comes back to life after 46,000 years. And of course, the ads are popping like crazy. Oh my goodness gracious. So, people that design websites, would you not have intrusive ads like this? Do you want people to read your stuff or not, for crying out loud? Anyway, immersive reader mode. Thank you, Edge browser. Okay, it seems unthinkable that anything could live after tens of thousands of years in hibernation. The discovery of a tiny creature in the Siberian permafrost has sparked conversations about how resilient life can be. In a recent breakthrough, researchers determined that a worm which had been frozen for about 46,000 years had survived and remained alive. Dr. Philip Schiffer, a group with the Institute of Zoology at the University of Cologne, and his colleagues have been studying how this creature managed to survive well beyond its usual lifespan. And in case you want some nightmares, there's an image of what this thing looks like, and it is, as you would expect, terrifying. It's tiny. Don't worry. It's not going to crawl up and snuggle with you in bed or something. But this thing is, once again, like the tardigrades we've talked about, the water bears. Well, life finds a way, doesn't it? Michael Crichton again kind of rears his ugly head, and I mean that in the best way. Rest in peace. Great writer. And with the Jurassic Park, right? Life finds a way. But in any case, like, boil all this stuff together and talk about life sort of finding this gray space to lie dormant until the time is right. It almost feels as if there's some ancient prophecy being fulfilled where, just like freezing somebody today to bring them back, in a couple hundred years when we can actually save their life and, resurrect them properly, that maybe a lot of this stuff is out there in nature, laying in wait under the permafrost somewhere to do exactly this, to come back and be part of a future that is more Frankenstein than we ever dreamed. I don't really know. I'm not really sure. The Star Wars worm, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot here to this. But basically, so the question for you guys tonight is this. Do you think we are heading to this point, to this level of acceleration where these robots will be the vessels? They will have that artificial intelligence spark, and eventually they will need some sort of living skin. And do you think this living skin will come from the animal kingdom itself? That's the question. That's where we're at tonight. That's where we start. A lot of ways to look at this. And how wild is this? And like I said, if you guys want to talk a little bit about the Epstein stuff, we can do that. I'm more interested in the conspiracy of it, them hiding the information, than I am, the darkness of what they actually did, because it's horrific. Basically child trafficking and all the rest of that. Like I said, it doesn't make for a fun night when you talk about that stuff. But anyway, if you want to bring it up, that's okay, because I think it is on many people's minds right now because of the news that came today. It seems like they're playing some games, and it is frustrating when you talk transparency and then suddenly transparency is the rug pull that you don't get. But anyway, yeah, that puts us where we're at. And I see you guys in the chat. Hope everybody's well tonight. Thank you for putting your hands up early. So Sonia was first, and we'll go Daryl, we'll go Squigs after that, and we'll start calls right after the break here. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of ways to consider this. But like I said, as we learn more and more science and recognize that some of these things, these, living in dead states may not be as we ever thought they were, and this cryogen slumber, well, I don't know. How does this fit together? And there's a lot happening, a lot in that space of ideas, but it certainly seems to me like this is alchemy from the days of old. This is some sort of necromancy, even, Frankenstein level weird laboratory stuff where you're going to create an abomination, like literally something out of Lovecraft from the void. I mean, which is why the, as you can see, the thumbnail here seems very much like that, right? They got the toad up on the table where they got the cells from, and they're creating this tentacled monster, of course, with the sigils burned into the table, and the, you can't really see the doctor's face on the image. It's hilarious, but he kind of has an android face. Yeah, robots creating robots. Anyway, so that's what's on my mind tonight. Hope you guys are doing well, and thanks for hanging out and being cool and chill, and thanks for being patient with each other as we, and me, of course, because I'm a rambly mess most of the time. But thanks for being here. I appreciate it very much. If you want to be a part of the conversation tonight, we are not actually on the phone line because the phone line is, of course, broken because I haven't fixed it yet. I'll fix it this weekend. Yeah, there you go. Eldritch-like things, exactly right. But we are taking your calls on Discord, Troubled troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, pop in here. Like I said, Sonia's first. We'll go to Daryl and Squigs after that. It's weird, right? This is a weird one. And how Frankenstein does this get? And how soon do you think something like this might be afoot? Is it already happening now? This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
In a cryogenic slumber, lost in the lunar night, your face a faded number, among the stars so bright, dreams of forgotten echoes, waiting for time's command, curtains of gray and sorrow, the lonely lunar sand. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we tried, silent by your ancient souls reside, suspended in a story, kept in the cold dark tide. Our futures in the making, in a silver-edged domain, hearts kept in silent aching, till we meet once again. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we tried. Frozen time we're resting, waiting for dawn's embrace, whispers of love confessing in this forgotten place. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we tried. With the morning glow, and the light will come to know. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we tried, in the depths of lunar silence, our destinies intertwined. Memories kept so vibrant in the vacuum deep in mind. The tale of cosmic yearning across the astral sea, and the fires of hope still burning for when we finally breathe free.
What's up, guys? Squigs, Y, Puffus here. Good evening over there on Rumble. I see you guys. Hiker, what's happening? Who did I miss? If I missed anybody, sorry about that. I predict a form of art where we Frankenstein nature to create art. Thanks for the comment, Squigs. We'll talk to you momentarily. Who did I miss? What's up? Squigs is here. Matt, so we got Gaston, Sonia. You're coming up next. Joe, Jeff, Dawn, APOC, James, Sweets. We got Kramos and Michael W. And Trouble Minds coming up. I'll get the YouTube on the next time around. I see Mr. Miscontrol, Celia. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, could life really harbor a secret switch, flipping cells into a shadowy third state where death's just a pause? Might ancient shaman have glimpsed it? aliens seeded it, or elites now twist it into synthetic gods and sleeper agents. Yeah. Not even talking about the worm, frozen for 46,000 years, yawns its way back to life. A lot of things in this narrative here, but it's very necromancy. It's very Frankenstein. Worse, I don't know if can you say worse than Frankenstein, and getting them, parts of dead bodies and putting them together and resurrecting them with lightning. That's pretty dark. But this seems darker, doesn't it? Anyway, what's your take on this? As you know, we can take these conversations anywhere you like. So thanks for again being patient with my rambling narratives. Like I said, they're just ideas, so it's just a way to start a conversation about the wild technology and science that's happening. So again, if you want to be part of the show, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link and just put your hand up. We'll put you on the show just like this. Sonia is a bot. Welcome to the joint. How are you? Thanks for putting your hand up early, and go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. You sound great.
Oh, okay. So from what you guys were talking about earlier, I don't think that we need to go back to necromancy or the worm or anything like that. In one of my books called After the Election, I talked about something that will actually, it already is now, long after I started writing about it, places that have artificial wombs that can, bring to life, babies, and before the fetuses actually are born, they could easily be injected with Neuralink. And so the robots are going to be able to be human and robots at the same time, as soon as today. So we don't have to even go back to getting any kind of other biologics other than, we have too many people who have already given their DNA to places like 26andMe and all those other companies. And so they can already identify all the genetics that are basically preferable, for longevity and all the other things that, might be great for a robot and for the human race. And they can grow those babies now without any kind of problems. I mean, if they can get our DNA from anywhere and can grow those babies. So I don't know. It's a pretty scary time right now.
Let me talk about that real quick. So it's a fantastic take, and you're right. You don't even need all this extra sort of necromancy stuff to make this happen. It is sort of that transhumanist future is upon us now, and however that looks is going to be myriad ways in which this sort of manifests and culminates in that transhuman person, the actual robot synthetic organic merging of life itself. It's coming, and there's no stopping it at this point. It just really depends on how this happens. But you're absolutely right. All the DNA stuff out there does freak me out. I didn't send my DNA to anybody, but like you said, I mean, you can get it off a trash can, off a coffee cup. I mean, this type of stuff can be, and they've even ruled in court that it's cool, you threw that away, so it's not yours anymore. It's like, what? Wait, really? Seriously? This is the world we live in, and it's even been legislated. So that's really, it seems not fair in a lot of ways. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Go ahead. What else you got?
Well, yeah, at the same time, they can basically gain every kind of what they think is a positive characteristic and culminate that and grow it in an outside womb right now and implant the Neuralink, and then they've got the robot right there. And
their vessel. Which is the artificial womb and the baby. So we're talking about literally creating. You don't even need the robots because it's literally a biological robot that's now been programmed.
Absolutely, yeah. It's pretty darn scary at this point.
And all this stuff is becoming real. I'm telling you what. The bizarre part is, I've seen some studies on artificial wombs and whatnot, but I would expect that probably in the next 5 years that's going to be like a massive thing, because as these systems accelerate and we start to analyze our society and a lot of the stuff, we know that the birth rate's dropping in a lot of ways, in a lot of different parts of the world for a lot of different reasons. It's not, you can pinpoint any single thing, but it's happening in a lot of ways. But the bizarre part is that one of those, when we start to recognize in more clarity with more data and information, one of the more important actual things is going to be that artificial womb. So you can have 10 kids if you want and have them all cooked at the same time. With your DNA and all the rest. So I would expect that, even though it's probably not as widespread, I'm guessing it's probably invented and people are using it somewhere kind of in secret. But I would guess that coming soon, it's going to be one of those technologies as part of that acceleration that maybe turns it on its head, and it, for better or worse. That's a little scary thing to think about. But yeah, fire stuff. Appreciate the call. What else you got?
Well, not too much else, but I think that these won't just be regular babies. These are going to be Neuralink babies, so they're going to be hyper intelligent at the same time. So it's going to be a little bit more than just being able to procreate at a higher number because our birth rate is dropping. I think that it's going to be uber intelligent babies, and it's going to be a war of the worlds, because I don't think that these hyper intelligent babies are going to be able to survive together. Okay, I think that they're going to fight for the fact that they're going to have to be superior to everything. So I think that it's going to be we have a new movie in creation right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. And you're right too, because the Neuralink will be that acceleration. And I wonder, with a baby, you get the goo goo gaga phase where they're in that super hyper learning mode, but I wonder with the Neuralink, if you can kind of, or something similar, install it, very close to birth once it becomes safe to do so, which they're going to try, and not tell us, because it's horrific to think about. But people are thinking of this stuff. But I wonder how soon and how early you would be able to communicate with a baby with some sort of Neuralink that would be able to sort of translate their pre-language thoughts and then have us be able to communicate back to them through it. There's like a lot of things in play here that are just like, damn, sci-fi is about to get real, because all this stuff is about to become a thing. And yeah, great points all. Appreciate it very much. Unless you got anything else.
Well, in the book that I'm writing, the babies are actually injected with the Neuralink as they're a fetus within the artificial womb. So I think that they're already going to be more intelligent as they are born than the people who don't have Neuralink, who are still surviving.
Well said. Do you got a title for that book? Looking forward to when it comes out. Anything to add to that? Or they're not done yet?
It's called After the Election, and I started writing it before the last election, but now it's even more relevant.
Funny how that works. The muses have a funny way of kicking the can down the road and helping you be in the pocket right when you need to be. Appreciate the phone call. You are the best. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. And please give Sonia a follow. Go check out her books. Talented writer. And as you can tell, a talented thinker. troubledminds.org/friends. Just scroll down a little bit. It says Sonia's books here. Go support our friends and go buy one of her books. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for hanging out, and you have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. You were the best. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. Talking to people all over the world about amazing ideas here. Again, troubledminds.org/friends says follow Sonia here. Sonia's books. Scroll down and click that. It'll take you to her Booksy page. And let's again, you want to spend a little bit of scratch. Let's do it and help our friends. Yeah, I don't know. Wild one. Lots of things in play here and lots of ways to look at it. And she added another wrinkle to this, because you don't even need necromancy and the worm from 46,000 years ago waking up. You don't need any of that. She's right, because technologically speaking, we've got these vessels that are ready to be sort of created with our own DNA and mixing and matching. We talked about the 3-parent kids and 5-parent kids and stuff like this coming. It's all coming. Like I said, it's step on the gas, because all this stuff is about to become a thing. And I don't know, I guess the question would be, as part of the larger conversation here, is that which parts of this is too sci-fi, too when you can do anything as part of this acceleration, these AI systems may be solving diseases and all kinds of things, and even finding novel ways of, again, growing kids in wombs or whatever, artificial wombs, as Sony was saying, there's going to be some really weird stuff that you can do. So we're going to be coming into this space where you have to ask the question, again, the Michael Crichton question. We were so busy, so concerned with trying to do it, we never asked whether we should or not, which includes bringing back dinosaurs and that type of stuff. Like, it seemed like science fiction 20 years ago, but maybe, just maybe, it's not going to be very soon. But anyway, yeah, great call. Appreciate you very much. Phone number is down tonight if you want to be part of the conversation. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Thanks for being patient. Daryl in New York, how are you tonight? And go right ahead. Hello, hello. Test, test. I do not hear you. She's got a complicated audio setup, so let's give it a second here. Sometimes you push one button and things fix. By the way, if you guys call into the Discord, make sure that you do update the Discord before you come in, because they do almost push out almost daily updates. It's like every other day or so. So if you're on an old version, I'm on a new version, you'll be able to hear me and I won't be able to hear you, or whatever, vice versa, something like that. So yeah. Please update the Discord if you have not, if you're about to call in. Daryl, are you there? Test 1, 2. Daryl. Nothing. Discord does work because we had Sony there. Daryl, I'm going to drop you down, restart the Discord, and we'll get you back in a second here. I'm going to get Squigs on first, and then we'll go back to you. Sorry about that. Tech issues, it does happen. I've been a part of it for a very long time, dealing with tech issues. Instead, let's go to Squigs. What's up, my man? How are you doing tonight? Thanks for listening. You're on Troubled Minds, and go right ahead.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Good. It's good to call in again. This is a really interesting topic. The angle I want to come at it is, like, what defines life? Like, what is this spark of life that they talk about? So if we can take an existing life form and mutate it, add to it, subtract parts from it, and create a new life, does it have that spark, or is it some sort of, like you were saying in your intro, is it like a different form of life? And so I guess the question I wonder is, if we were created, and it says the gods created us, what created that spark? And the thing that I think that's a great question that we're kind of going to run into as we play with these technologies is, can we it's okay to take the building blocks of life and create something that has eyes, that can see, smell, it has all of those senses, but does it have that spark, or is it just a sort of an amalgamation of organic tools with life-like features? And I think the base question for me is, what is life? Where does life come from? Because I've got this theory and I've got no science to back it up, or I haven't read anything that sort of aligns with it, but that life is a state. So life isn't in the universe, it's a state of the universe. So where would it come from? And there was an experiment, I think it was done in the 70s, and my friend told me, I overheard him speaking about one that was done like this year or the year before, where they got, the first one I read about in the 70s was where they got a glass vacuumed sealed container. And I don't know what they did outside of the container, but the scientists reported that bacterium seemingly manifest in a place that shouldn't exist. And the experiment my friend was telling me about was where they got similar thing. They got a titanium cube obviously with a compartment in the middle, and they, made sure it was sterile. They sucked all the air out of it. And again, according to this, I can't verify it, I haven't looked at it, life seemingly manifest in there. So the question then became, how did it get in there? The scientists would say that it would have had to become quantum and then go through the titanium wall, which oxygen can't get through, and then manifest inside the box. But I've got this theory that life is more fractal or more vortex related, so that if you have the right conditions of energy in any place in the universe, that's the spark that I think that occurs, if you want to use the word, naturally throughout the universe. And I think that's how we probably have life all over the universe, and that's why we have so much life on Earth, is because the conditions were right for it to manifest, quite literally. So if life manifests, That's cool. What are we making? And is that also life, or is it another section altogether? And can the two, are they going to have to be called essentially two different things? Because I don't think you could necessarily call them the same thing. And even if you enhance life, like the caller was saying before, if you have a baby born with a Neuralink in it, it's only going to be as intelligent as the raw flesh and blood that it has initially. Sure, it will be able to access, like what I'm trying to say is if you get a genius and you hook up Neuralink, 1,000 years down the line, if that breeds, it's going to be 1,000,000 times more intelligent than if you get somebody who's quite simple. So I guess the raw life has to be, the naturally manifested life is a completely different thing than anything that is created that doesn't have that spark, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And it does go back to the, how do we define consciousness? How do we define agency and purpose and all the rest of these things that are definitely human attributes and constitute a human life? But I mean, how do you, just in the framework of, the flora and fauna of the earth we have now naturally, how do you sort of apply that to a dog? How do you apply that to an elephant or whatever, something that's maybe a little less sentient in our minds? How would you apply that to, a virus, or that we are a legion? We've talked about that. Like, imagine if you could amplify the sounds and the thoughts of a virus to be audible to humans. It would probably sound alien and horrific, and we are a legion and we're coming to take you down or something, right? It would be something to that degree in my mind. Who knows? Maybe they're singing a lovely tune. I mean, but I kind of doubt it. And so who really knows? And that becomes the larger question that you're asking. And I think you're spot on here, is that when it's difficult for us to find consciousness directly and specifically, and we're moving into the space where life itself will suddenly come into question and be put under that microscope. I couldn't agree more. And that's part of that acceleration and this quickening, is that very soon we're going to have these entities that are very human-like, that are even smarter than us, but they are still not human. And do you see a future as part of that where it's going to be, people picketing on the streets for robot rights? Do you think we're going to move into a space like that, or pseudo life rights? Just because you're, what are they going to do? Give them like a third of a vote or something? If you're a Shoggoth with 6 tentacles, you only get half a vote. I mean, it's weird, right? When you start to integrate these ideas into society. It's unprecedented, obviously, but I think it gets messy. What's your take?
Well, I think we're right around the corner for that. I think that's pretty obvious. Like the last caller said, like we're at that verge where we're going to be able to combine man and machine. But just back to what you were saying before on consciousness, and again, what is consciousness? So we anthropomorphize everything. So when we talk about a dog, we say it's a lesser form of conscious. It's got this form of conscious, but it can't do this, and these high-level functions. I'd also argue that everything's conscious in terms of even I've got a sort of fascination with butterflies, and I've photographed a lot of them. Butterflies, so there's a theory of evolution that the strongest survived, and that one day a butterfly was born thousands of years ago, and it accidentally had the picture of a snake's head on the back of it, right? Just pure chance, and then that happened to breed with another one that happened to have a snake's head on the back of it. And hence why today there's a whole subset of butterflies with a predator imprinted, an image of a predator on their back. And it's just chance. Now, I think that's a ridiculous theory. I think that all life is conscious, and that it doesn't have to be conscious on a human level of thinking conscious. So basically, the insect, to go back to the butterfly, it can't put it in words, but it has learnt by flying around the little bushes that there's this thing over there that's a snake, and it seems to be a bit of an alpha, and things tend to run away when it's around. And however it's done it, it has then taken a sort of like a photo in its unconscious little butterfly brain and put that literal image of the snake's head on its back. So I call it conscious evolution. So I think everything's doing that, from bacteria up to the apex, which is humans. So again, I think we make the mistake of trying to make it all about where we're at. And I think that we'll be well shocked when we find life that isn't us, that's 1,000 times more advanced. And then we'll shake up all of these questions. I think the question of what is consciousness and is kind of that's going to be an old question soon. It's just going to be to what level what's its potential to create, to build, to destroy? And I think, so, I don't know, I'm rambling a bit now.
No, you're not. What are you talking about? Fire stuff. And I agree with you too regarding sort of the levels of consciousness. And in the woo world, the new age world, they talk about frequencies. And if you're on a higher frequency, you sort of shaken out the ego, you sort of shaken out the aggression, and kind of dealt with the trauma, done the shadow work, stuff like this. And so you sort of operate on a higher frequency than most of the people around you. And so I think you might even be able to measure. And again, that's just one example, but there might be several layers of this that we can scientifically quantify, very, Jungian archetypal type stuff that you can say, okay, well, maybe we start vibrating on an actual different basis from our brain waves in a particular, when we've moved on from one thing to the next thing. And so consciousness is still consciousness, but it's sort of kind of hammering out the ape instinct from us as part of our learning process. And this goes back to one of the things we talked about a very long time ago when we first started the show, is that, with humans, the question is, do you stop evolving the moment you're born? In the cellular sense, in the DNA sense, absolutely, it's all done. However, right, there's a whole journey there of all the stuff that we're talking about: ego, consciousness, agency, purpose. I mean, there's so many human aspects that kind of come into it. So I can see sort of measuring those levels and having a scientific way to do it coming soon. So yeah, maybe, just maybe, to being on a higher vibe, higher wavelength, or whatever, on the level, as they say, who says that. But it's I don't know, maybe this is where we're headed. What do you think?
Oh, I think that makes a lot of sense. And just on that higher vibe and that sort of ascension sort of idea, where there's these people that talk about the levels of consciousness, and there's groups of people that believe that we're going into a state of consciousness globally now, where you can correlate it with what's the biblical thing, where the rapture, where we all sort of poof and into a different state we go. And I'm reminded of a tale of, whether it's true or not, of the Egyptians in the pyramids that were consuming a really high amount of ormus, so white powder of gold, some monoatomic gold. And the theory was that they would get into that king's chamber, and the right frequencies would be in there. And if they consumed enough of this white powder of gold, which sort of physically, and this comes to the conscious evolution idea, where they're using their consciousness to essentially evolve into a different state, when the legend goes, they got to a point and then poof, in a flash of light, they were gone. So that could be a state that we can scientifically move towards. But just last final thought, going back to could we communicate with children? I mean, we already do, right? So the parents communicate non-verbally with the children to a very high level. So what more will we get when we can apply an algorithm or a technology to extract a little bit more of that communication out? And is it necessary for life? It may not be. We may have that technology, right? We may be able to zoom right down beyond the micro, and there's nothing interesting to see there. Or we may be able to zoom out to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. And again, we really need to know where the planets are. So I guess that, it's scary how much potential technology will be able to enhance human potential. But will we get to a point where we're no longer human also? I guess that's my final thought.
Yeah, and I got one for you before you go. We got about a minute left, so I want to answer what you said there. Very smart stuff. A fantastic call. Regarding communicating with children, so they have, there's, in the very young state, they have that super learning phase where, you could teach a kid by the time they're 5, like 10 languages. If they had enough sort of stimulus and input, they could just become, like we're all born like as a super genius, like a sponge. And so as part of that, I would wonder what that would look like attached to something like a Neuralink, again, or non-invasive Neuralink, let's say, because we don't want to hurt the babies, but you know what I mean? Like what does the brain actually look like in its like hyper most active mode, where it's just sucking in information like a sponge? I don't know. It's what we aspire to. And they say, by the way, with the Einstein's brain, that he was able to retain some of that through his life, like through the autopsy on his brain, that for some reason he had sort of an actual abnormal brain, at least from what I've read. And they speculate that that's what it was. He was able to hold on to sort of that childlike wonder for most of his life, which I don't know. Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for calling. Thanks for listening. And thanks for supporting the show. You're the best, brother.
No worries. Peace.
Thanks a lot. That's Squigs from Down Under, our friends in Australia. Appreciate that very much. Over on Rumble, go check him out. Go say hi. Yeah, lots of stuff in play here. And again, I don't know, right? As usual, just ideas kind of coming out of this, but very smart people. Like I said, we are blessed to have such smart friends. Thank you, Sonia, for the phone call. Thank you, Daryl, for understanding for the tech issues. We'll get to you in just a moment. Thank you, Squigs, for the phone call. Fire stuff. I don't know. How does this look? What does the future really turn into when we're talking about, you know, a third state of life and death, when we're talking about the vessel being a robot, like something from Blade Runner, and then merging the line between human and not human? I don't know. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. We got Daryl in New York, Herschel coming up in Arizona, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere.
Troubled mind, the words they cast, heavy shadows from the past. A restless heart, a searching soul, seeking space to become whole. Troubled minds find open sky through every tear and every sigh. We rise, we fall, wings unfurled, more than labels in this world. In crowded streets or empty rooms, our echoes chase away the gloom. A spark of hope, a whispered truth, a shared melody, our fountain of youth. We're more than static on the line, singing louder than the signs. In every chord, we claim our part, beating drums match the heart. Grab the strings, we tune the stars, punk rock anthems heal the scars. A blended mix of rage and art, painting freedom, that's just the start. Troubled minds take the stage, in every note we break the cage. We rise, we fall, but carry on, sing our truth until the dawn. In the quiet after the song, echoes of our rights and wrongs. But the music speaks for peace, in the chords we find release. Troubled minds now rest at ease, with every breath we seize release. We stand, we soar into the light, our anthem roar into the night.
Indeed. Great calls. Appreciate you guys very much. Thank you, Sonia, and thank you, Squigs. We got Daryl coming up and Herschel as well, and your calls as well. What's up? We got Celia's here. Who'd I miss? Kramos, how you doing? I'll go to Discord in a second here. Mr. Michigan Troll, hope you guys are doing great tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. Pseudo History is here. How you doing? Welcome to the thing. Carla's like, you guys are a little too weird for me. I'm out. No, all good. What's up, James? Hope you're feeling better. Rest well. We'll catch you soon. Yeah, the Epstein stuff. Like I said, it's such an energy drain just thinking about it, because it's such a dark space, you know. What's up? Lily in Australia, welcome back. How you doing? Welcome. I saw your trip. Thanks for the update there. Welcome back to welcome home, and welcome back to your Troubled Minds home. Welcome, fam. Who did I miss? If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back, and trying to get everybody here. Who did I miss on Discord? Squigs, thanks for the call. We got Ricky, Matt Sal, Gaston is here. Sonia, thanks for the call. James, Sweets, Adrian, Eric, Joe in Florida. We got APOC, Don, Jeff, and Wisco, Kramos, Michael W, and Herschel. Call order coming up is Daryl first, and then Herschel next, and then your calls as well. Who'd I miss? Great stuff, Squigs. Great stuff, Y. Great comments too. Y says this as well. So intelligence is hardly the only attribute necessary for a fulfilling existence. How about purpose, meaning, ambition, emotional balance, spiritual maturity, attitude, on and on? Exactly. So which comes back to, as we were describing there with Squigs when we were talking about that, is that kind of defining what it means to be alive is one thing, right? Alive and dead is a little easier than consciousness, actual consciousness. And yeah, a lot of wild ideas with that. Love it. Who'd I miss? Puff is here. What's up, Hiker? I see you guys. DJ Overtime. I like the name. What's going on? Who'd I miss? If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Doing my best to keep up. Herschel's over there on Kick, I believe. How you doing? Yes, indeed. We'll talk to him momentarily, and taking your calls as well. What do you know about it? A lot of ways to look at this. I think that's when I'm doing my best, I'm kind of weaving an interesting tale that has many ideas, many threads that we can kind of tackle. Because there's, if you do it right, you can do this show 5 times in a row and, kind of peel some other threads out of the ideas that kind of come out of the conversation. So anyway, you guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out. Here we go. Trouble Line's coming up in about 5 seconds. And Daryl first and Hirsch next. And your calls as well. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight, I'm calling this Gods from the Graveyard, Cheating the Grim Reaper. Could life really harbor a secret switch, flipping cells into a shadowy third state where death's just a pause? Might ancient shaman have glimpsed it, aliens seeded it, or elites now twist it into synthetic gods and sleeper agents? And not to mention, the worm frozen for 46,000 years yawns back to life. There's a lot here. A lot of this. It is that cryogen slumber from the song there. And also, well, technology. That acceleration is really, we're going to have a framework of ethical questions we need to answer with regard to how we tackle this. When many things become possible, some things probably should not be attempted. You get what I mean? And this has been going on forever. Like I said, they clone the sheep, right? Dolly the sheep. But where's the monkey? Where's the human hybrid monkey? Right? Where's that? We're told it's never happened. But we're smarter than that. We're definitely smarter than that. The human Z is out there somewhere, and that's the elephant in the room. And the question becomes, with the ethical framework of what should we do? Just because it's possible. Back to Michael Crichton and Jurassic Park. We never thought. We were so concerned with whether we could, and we never stopped to think whether we should. I don't know. Where do you stand on this? Lots of ways to take this. Love to hear your thoughts. Phone number is down tonight. We're taking your calls on Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. We'll put you on the show. Just like this. Daryl in New York. Thanks for resetting the Discord and coming back. I think you're good to go. How are you tonight? Go right ahead.
Okay. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear. You sound great.
Oh, okay. I unplugged. I have a new setup with a microphone that took me like 3 days to activate. Now I unplugged the whole thing. Nice. But that's okay.
Well, welcome to my life. That's pretty much how I do everything. But yeah, but the good news is you're not starting over. You're starting from experience, and you know how to set it up now. So yeah, welcome to the joint. You sound great. Exactly.
Found out the whole thing. The whole time I had forgot to unmute the mute button. It was so simple. It's always something simple. It's never anything complicated. But speaking of complicated, okay, where do I start? Okay, like the good news, like let's say they can do this, that you don't have to actually go through labor. Maybe you don't even have to go through conception. You just put it in your test tube and you pick out your perfect features, and you don't have to have stretch marks, labor pains, morning sickness. You could, you don't have to gain weight or lose weight and go through any kind of labor pains or, anything. You just have that baby, outside of your body, in an artificial womb. Now, what does that do to the baby? What does that do with your relationship with the baby?
It's a good question.
Doesn't that, like what kind of baby comes out emotionally stable? Could that be like, something that's really inherent in being secure? Is it going to be insecure from day one because it didn't have a real womb? Well, did you, were you born in a real womb? Well, I wasn't born in a real womb. That's what we're talking about, are you going to even be attached to the baby? Is the baby going to be attached to you? Is the baby going to reject you? You know what I'm saying? it might not have those kind of instincts that are inherent when you're born in a womb, that you develop an instant, attachment to your child, that comes from being born in a womb. But, there's like the good part and the bad part. So, you don't have to go through all those, physical, uncomfortable things that you go through when you are pregnant. And then, whatever, then any sex can have a baby. Anybody can have a baby then.
It's happening now. It's happening now. They're doing it with the surrogate stuff. And there's also ethical questions regarding the surrogate stuff too, because, they pay these people like $75,000 a year to carry somebody else's baby. And, they spend the entire gestation period, basically forming a, dare we say, a spiritual bond with that baby. And then when the baby is born, they have to hand it off to somebody else. I mean, that's horrific. I can't even imagine. For money?
Painful, very painful. Could be painful for all parties without really knowing it. And that baby, no matter what you tell him, when he finds out he was born outside of the womb, why didn't you want a real birth? Why didn't you have like a real conception? Why didn't you, how come I'm not like other kids? They're going to constantly have an issue, with that. Just like if you were adopted or something, you're still going to feel like you weren't wanted by your real parents, even though you're whatever, And, so let's say your hybrid baby, your Neuralink baby has sex with a real womb-born baby. What kind of baby did they have? And maybe they're going to miss something that's really like important, like a moral value, or any kind of like, maybe they're all inherently psychotic. That's like a side effect. Like they might have they might be geniuses, but they're also very dangerous, So you have to kind of like lock them up, or something. You don't know what their consequences are. They're going to be lacking in the one thing that we treasure as humans. And what if this is always going on? Like why? Maybe we've had these resets because humans are just not perfect. And they're imperfect to such a flaw that we have to start from scratch again. And we have to put our genetics in order and make us less violent or more aggressive or less aggressive. Maybe, what if these people are never going to have a sex drive? What if it eliminates the use of a sex drive? What are humans going to be like without a sex drive? What are humans, if you don't have maybe they won't have orgasms. I mean, whatever, this is all, things that the consequences of these things that we don't anticipate. Oh, shoot, we forgot about that. We forgot to add that strand of DNA. Oh, darn, and it's going to wind up in the wrong hands. Ultimately, it's going to get weaponized, I wanted to mention this thing. I saw a kitten that was frozen. I don't know if you saw this video on whatever YouTube, but this man brought this kitten back to life. It was frozen solid, like stiff dead. It was cold and not moving. And it just put it in a blanket. The guy put it in a blanket and it kept massaging it and warming it up and defrosting it. And I swear to God, this kitten came back to life. I don't know if they did any trick photography or, how they manipulated the video. Maybe it was all fake. I don't know. But it looked pretty real to me. And he brought the kitten back to life. So how do these things evolve in space? Like that worm, these tardigrades, like how did they, like maybe they have to, evolve because they came from a planet that they couldn't live on. But that evolution that they could survive in the depth of space to be rejuvenated 14 million years later when the time is right. Like what kind of evolution does that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying. And what did I want to say? Oh, did you hear about the baby robot, what their first words were?
I didn't.
Data.
Of course. Of course.
Data. And one more thing, it's really ironic. Why is a computer asking me if I'm a robot?
It's a good question.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? there's a whole thing with that too, right? Like it's like, are you a robot? You're like, no, bro. You. It's like that Spider-Man meme where like the Spider-Man points at each other. You're like, no, you're the robot. No, you're the robot. It's so silly.
Who's calling me a robot? You're calling me a robot? I'm calling you a robot. What if I called you a robot? And then, that's being racist or something. That, that's being, they're going to like, I don't know. It's the wrong pronoun. What did I want to mention too? Oh shoot. I had another thought in my head. Oh yeah. Why are they going this far ahead, to make people immortal? Or, why don't they start curing real diseases? You know what they cured? They cured hepatitis C. Why did they cure that? They could cure it, but that they didn't make, they couldn't make enough money, but so many people had it and they did it. How come they're not curing more diseases? There's money in sickness, but there isn't in cures, so why are they spending all this time making us perfect or making evolution, like playing God, et cetera, trying to make us more perfect, et cetera? How often did this happen, and how many Frankensteins have been created and destroyed for the sake of, reaching immortality, and how dangerous, like, were the Frankenstein monsters, or the chimeras in the past, that they, maybe they couldn't mate and make more monsters, like a Cyclops, for example, or something, or that could be also a side effect of making these Neuralinks. So you can't procreate. They're just not capable of having, they're like mules or donkeys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't know, again, so sort of doing that, removing, the human people as part of the procreation process, removing it entirely. We don't know what the, second order effects of all that will look like. You're completely right. And scaling the technology here is, there's some, there's probably some good stuff to come with it, but there's also going to be some bad stuff that we'll have to deal with per usual, right? Which is why it's up to us to have these smart conversations and think about these things before other people think about them. And we're not on a cutting edge all the time, but sometimes we're literally probably pressing on a cultural pressure point that's in our face that nobody's thinking about just yet. It's there, but it's something we need to sort of confront as a society, because this stuff it's changing quick. It's definitely changing quick. Fire stuff, Daryl. You're the best. Go ahead.
In the one of the articles that you shared, there was another article about them putting a human brain into a rat. Did you see that article?
Which one was that?
It was in, I can't remember which article it was. I could try to find it. I'll try to find it before, we finish this evening. But, what are the implications of having a human brain in a rat and being aware that you're a rat as a human? Like, holy fuck, I hate rats, and now I'm a rat, Like, that would be just like, how conscious, you know what I'm saying? Consciousness would be very cruel. And I think there's a lot of ethics about playing with, human material and animals and that kind of stuff. I think there's got to be an ethic line that you have to draw before you start putting my mind in some kind of cockroach,
Absolutely right. And rats are an interesting thing too, because that's where they do all the research. It's all on rats.
Right.
I've got an old friend that was still a scientist that did this type of work, and you take these live rats and you have this technique where you like break their back. And it's like, and then you do, you got fresh meat to do your studies on. It's like, it's horrific. Like in their entire lifetime, like how many rats have they just kind of broke the back of a rat for an experiment? It's a whole rabbit hole, but it would give me nightmares. It would totally give me nightmares.
Oh God! Don't let me come back as a rat. Especially a laboratory rat.
Exactly. No thanks. You're the best. We got Herschel behind you. We got to cut. Always a pleasure. You were the best. Sorry for breaking your audio setup. If you need help with that, you let me know. Always a pleasure, Daryl. Have a great night. You already love her. That's Daryl in New York. Please go give her a follow. Links in the description. A talented woman, as you can tell, and not only does she sing in English and French, She's got a YouTube channel with all that stuff on it, some Morgellon stuff, some paranormal stuff, and of course, go join the Discord and come sing karaoke with Daryl from time to time. They do it with she's got friend groups that do this, and it's fun. I've hung out with them late into the night, and you can sing or you can just listen or whatever. It's incredible. Come join that. Come say hi again. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and of course, troubledminds.org/friends, and just scroll down a little bit. It says Daryl. Follow Daryl there. Go give her a follow on her YouTube channel, a like, and all the things, and leave her a nice comment. I would appreciate that. Fire stuff. Appreciate the call. Yeah, we're talking all manner of things tonight. What biobots and what is it? What are these things? I'm calling gods from the graveyard cheating the Grim Reaper. But lots of ways to look at this, because again, with the quickening of this acceleration I'm always talking about of technology, what does it look like tomorrow? And how do we sort of parse the ideas of ethics in a civilizational space where anything is possible? I'd read the phone number, but it's down tonight. If you want to be part of the conversation, click the Discord link at troubledminds.org and we'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Thanks for being patient with each other, guys, and sharing the airwaves. Let's go to Herschel in Arizona. Commercial. Herschel, what's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? And go right ahead. What's on your mind tonight? Test 1 2. Commercial Herschel, you are on Troubled Minds. Are you there?
There we go. Sorry about that. I was muted.
All good. Loud and clear. You're coming through. Welcome to the joint. How you doing? And go right ahead.
All right. I like that story that Squigs told about the butterfly. And it really made me think about this thing I thought about the other day. Like, you know, consciousness has a nature. Like it's like what he was saying, like it manifests. It's the nature of consciousness to manifest. That's like a quality of consciousness. I think the primary quality of consciousness is to continue. So it's always going to do the thing it needs to do to preserve itself. And we're seeing, like, we're talking about AI tonight, but what we also talked about the last few nights, was an acceleration that's happening in consciousness where people are having telepathic experiences, they're having psionic experiences. People are writing things, and then it turns out that they're imagining something, they wrote something, and then it turns out that the thing that they imagined in their science fiction actually is a thing that has been revealed through disclosure. So while the AI stuff is quickening, there's also seems to be a quickening of a changing in our consciousness that some people think has to do with where we are in our cycle in space, that the poles are shifting, that the vibratory nature of our whole solar system is changing right now, and that's a part of cycles. And when this happens, our natures change, and that's why maybe some civilizations, when poles were in different places, had such incredible technology, because they were going through a different thing, and so they thought differently and they worked differently, and we're maybe at the beginning stages of those shifts. So what I'm thinking is, kind of along the lines of that butterfly story, what if consciousness, natural consciousness, I don't call it supernatural consciousness, I call it natural consciousness. What if it's trying to remind us how cool it is, and it sees AI as a competition? Because it's the nature of consciousness to continue. It's not going to allow itself to go dormant. And it evolved us. It manifested us. Consciousness manifested us. So it could see AI as something to be jealous of. And it could be trying to remind us, like, you know what I mean? It's some weird way of, I wish I could articulate that. I'm sure over the course of the next couple of weeks, I'll figure out a way to articulate this. But I'm just saying, like, what if that's what's happening? What if that's happening? What if it's like, it's meeting the moment? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what if it's meeting the moment? What if it's rising to the occasion?
I follow you. And for sure,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, consciousness is one of those things, right, where it's not just, let's say, something that's natural, as you're describing there. It's also something that's artificial. It's you know, we're sort of led to compete instead of collaborate. We're led to, you know, hate the people across a particular line on a map. This type of stuff, right? The propaganda aspect of it, and sort of how that corrupts or bastardizes what it means to be human. There's a lot of things in play there. And so when you start to break down those paradigms and say, okay, well, given all the data, all that stuff is ridiculous, and there's no reason for any of that stuff, but it's still built into our generational trauma. It's built into our epigenetics. It's built into, you know, if you don't kill the woolly mammoth first and eat it with your tribe, the other tribe's going to get it, and you're, you know, down a woolly mammoth that you might not eat. Like that type of stuff. It's cooked into us. And so we have a reckoning coming with not just with consciousness, but I think with whatever this turning looks like. And I'm with you. I think we are moving in this direction, like we talked about the age of Aquarius the other night. But how do we get there? We have a lot of really difficult problems to solve because we're not going to agree on things. Look, you and me are bros. We agree on a lot of things. We would disagree on a lot of things too, on how we implement this or how we do this or how we do that, in a friendly way. But imagine that scaled out. These are the things that start wars. It's just horrific, meaning that we need to be able to shake this. We need to live at a higher density, whatever that looks like, and whatever it takes. It has to happen, in my opinion.
No, for sure. Like it's gonna happen. I mean, it's the nature of things to happen. But I wonder if, you know, the thing that I and I think a lot of other people have a concern is if you can connect that Neuralink to your brain, there's people behind that thing, you know, and are we sacrificing our natural relationship by going into an artificial relationship? Like, are we losing one to gain the other under the, in my opinion, false pretense that it's superior? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So, you know, that's a really big question. Is that Neuralink or whatever this technology that they want to use on us, is that an interloper to our relationship with our universe? Is it going to eliminate that? You know, and so that to me is the thing, and that's what makes me. I'm thinking about when I use the word competition, I'm using it differently than the way it's used in like fighting over meat or something. Like,
okay,
I'm thinking more along the lines of like, just like kind of like what, like protection, like the butterfly, like that was that picture, that snake image on the back of that subspecies of butterfly. That snake image is like it's a protection. It's a competitive protection, but it's more of a protection than a competition. Like, it's more of a, like, not indirect aggression, but I'm trying to think of the right word. There's a word it's escaping me.
I got you.
But it's just,
I'll go esoteric.
Yeah, it's
a protective ward. Protective ward.
Sure. That's a good way of putting it. And so what if it's, you know, what if all of these Aquarian things that are happening are a protective ward, so that we opt to not hook our brains into digital consciousness and maintain our oral, as in aura consciousness.
Yeah.
Like what if that's a thing?
Absolutely.
I think there's something there. I think there's something there worth letting my subconscious mind work on in the background.
I agree with you, and this is why we influence each other. As I've always said, we are the influencers and we are the influenced collectively.
Yeah, we've really been, the last few couple of weeks, it has been like that on this show, with this show. Like a lot, as like I could almost like predict what your show was going to be about, almost like it would work. Like, it was weird. It's pretty good. It's not bad, Mike. Not bad.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And fire stuff for me as well. I'm going to tell you this, as you know, we're out of time if you're watching the clock, but this happened to me I was listening to Clyde Lewis of Ground Zero, and there was a point where I was in lockstep. Whatever I was thinking about, he would do a show on that night. It was wild. And then we passed him, and now we're doing this. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you very much. Go give Commercial Herschel a follow. Search it. troubledminds.org/friends. It says follow Herschel here. I'll tell you all about it when we get back. You're the best. Appreciate the call. Have a fantastic night, brother.
Good night, everybody.
Take care. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere.
And shadows, we've got maps where nobody goes. In the night under hidden glows, guardians of what no one knows. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. In cloaked silence we traverse the lines, through ancient scrolls in forgotten times. Voices echo in the halls of lore, guardians of the mysteries evermore. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. Shadows meet in cryptic disguise, our eyes sharp against the everlights. With silver threads we weave the stealth to guard the past, forgotten world. Collide with hidden lore, our fates are tied. Signals bouncing off the astral plane, invisible codes that can't be tamed. We decode the stars under the midnight veil, a state and circles where midnight hail. In the echoes of time, where the legends lay, we tread the path where shadows play. With spectral eyes we discern the truth, unraveling tales from ancient youth. We seek the truth.
Hello. I'm Mike. I do this radio show. It's called Troubled Minds. We got a lot of really smart friends. And yeah, there's a lot of wild things happening in the world. What's up, Squigs? Thanks for the call. Ricky's coming up next. We got Matzau, Gaston. What's up, Sonia? Thanks for the call. Daryl, thanks for the call. James, hope you feel better. We got Sweets, Adrian, Eric, Apoc, Dawn, Jeff, and Kramos. I see you guys. If I missed you in any of the chat, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Ephemerance has arrived. How you doing? We got Magavet is here. How you doing? What is up, Squigs? Fantastic call. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Who did I miss? Have I missed anybody? My bad on that. Just trying to do all the things. And it's hard. It's Shane is here, Lucid Dream with a Blind Psychonaut. How you doing? Thanks for popping back in. Glad to have you. Hope you're feeling well and doing your thing. What's up? Herschel, a fantastic call. Follow Herschel. NY Debs is here. What's up, Celia? How you doing? What's up? Who did I miss? Sweets, Sonia. Good evening, guys. Hello. Just scrolling through the chats. What's up? Kramos, yep. Genetic engineering, CRISPR stuff. Yep, definitely that fits. Kelly's here. Kelly says millions. Oh, we're past the time. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, I'm calling this Gods from the Graveyard, Cheating the Grim Reaper, and it's wide and varied. There's a lot of ways to look at this, but basically this. Could life really harbor a secret switch? Flipping cells into a shadowy third state where death's just a pause. Might ancient shaman have glimpsed this idea? Aliens possibly seeded, or elites now twisted into synthetic gods and sleeper agents? There's a lot there, intentionally, because that's the point. The point is to kind of, you hear people say they're doing deep dives or whatever. We don't really do that. It's like we go more wide. Like, okay, so what are we missing sort of in the generalist idea of, disciplines? And when you start to combine these ideas together, I think we're going to find that there's a whole great many things that science has missed as part of leaving out the generalist from the direct specialist. And so, not that we're scientists or I'm a scientist or anything like that. I just mean the notion of a generalist really should probably play more in the AI era, because the AI is the ultimate generalist. It's going to be an expert in every damn thing and be able to combine all the disciplines and then pick and choose and sort of really rope the things together that should really fit together from different spaces, so different mind spaces. But anyway, lots of things on the docket tonight. Love to hear your thoughts. We are not on the phone line tonight. Like I said, tech issues. I've had tech issues for 2 weeks and it's driving me nuts. So no phone line tonight. We usually are on a phone line, a regular phone line, and it's a Las Vegas phone number, broadcasting from Vegas, or Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link and come join the fam. Come say hi. It's free, by the way. Discord's a chat client. It's a voice client. It's completely free. And just come say hi. Troubledminds.org, right there on the website. And just go to the top and click it. Join our Discord. And while we're on the website, by the way, troubledminds.org/friends, go follow Herschel. Commercial Herschel, fantastic call. Great ideas. And we are on the same page a lot of times. And even before I do the show, like there's a sort of this synchronicity aspect happening with the community. And this is not a new thing. We've been doing this for a while with all these amazing people and thinkers, and I know it's weird, like we're kind of sniffing the zeitgeist in real time and then just kind of cranking stuff out. But troubledminds.org/friends. It says follow Herschel. Please do that. Go check out his blog, check out his podcast. He's here on the radio network with us as well. Not just a great writer, a great podcaster. Yeah, there you go. Talented people, a great thinker, and looking forward to what he elaborates on from the conversation we just had on his call there. Fire stuff. Appreciate you guys very much. Again, I would read the phone number, but it's not up, but we'll go to Discord instead. Ricky in Tennessee. What's up, my man? Anything is possible podcast. How are you, sir? Welcome to the joint, and go right ahead.
I'm good. How about you?
No complaints, man. Living the dream, as I always say. We're blessed to have so many smart friends with amazing angles as part of these larger conversations. But yeah, definitely glad to be here. What's on your mind regarding any of this? As you know, take it anywhere you like. That's how we do this.
For sure. I was just kind of, was thinking about, kind of like Daryl's call and the other ones too, is the possibilities, with, the having kind of a, robot surrogate body womb or something like that. They could, the possibility, like there was others were saying, you can have more intelligence. They could add extra. I wonder, in my mind, if you're adding that, I wonder if you could, they get to the point of, kind of like the Matrix, where they were able to download, like, I know Kung Fu, we can, actually download the whole, entire style of martial art, or entire, entire science of how to do it, or, in a darker side. I mean, just be all they actually get taught out the bat. Is they already been taught before they even come out of the womb or come out of the circuit womb, I guess you'd say, or whatever. What they should think, and they already have a certain ideology coming out of the womb is the kind of scary mindset of, and I was thinking, when Daryl was saying something about, what's going to happen, like if it gets to a point, no sex or whatever. I made me think about Demolition Man, where they had outlawed intimate intercourse, and they had to have, they couldn't have this, and you had to have special permission to do all this kind of stuff, and get to the point of what the government, controlled every aspect of your life, pretty much, to make everything harmony and all that kind of crap. But unless you lived in a sewer.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's funny when you can, kind of quantify it like, harmony. Well, harmony to who? Like that becomes the problem, right? Which is what we always talk about. So, and shout out Matt Sell, he said this very smartly ages ago now on the show. Again, good to have smart friends. He said that, somebody's utopia is somebody else's dystopia. And that's exactly the point of, kind of not sending everything into one political space, because, hey, like, this may be great for you, but it's not great for other people, right? And so there's a problem there, and this is why those power bases are just so stupid to me. Both sides, I hate them both. I just can't stand how we're sort of corralled into two realms of thinking. And not just that, it's not just with politics, it's with UFOs, it's with esoteric stuff, it's with you name it. Basically, you name the topic, we've polarized the hell out of it, and it's horrific. It's horrific. And yeah, Matzell says abolish the orgasm. Remember that? That's an Orwell thing. In his final interview, he said that was one of the main goals of sort of stamping out the human spirit and inspiration. Is one of the things they would do is abolish the orgasm as part of that, because it is clearly one of the things that connects humans in a massive way. And so I don't know, man. Here we are, right? Lots of ways to look at this, and lots of, as I like to say, as Yoda said on Dagobah, difficult to see. Always in motion, the future is, and you bet your bippy, it absolutely is. Wild stuff. What else you got? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a wild to even think about that. Like you said earlier, hell, 20, 30 years ago, all this was completely, just science fiction. It's just ha whatever, And now, I mean, we truly are living in the future of what we grew up on as being science fiction. I mean, even to the point like even like the Jetsons and stuff like that. Other than the flying houses and sky houses and flying cars, they had. They had Zoom calls with doctors on them, and they had all this kind of stuff. And now they're finally getting to the points with the robots and maybe being your maid, which I don't know. Like that video you showed couple last week, I think it was, or whatever, with that robot attacking folks in the crowd. But that might turn sideways, of course. But just like software, like you said, like software gets crazy. It adds up. It messes up. I mean, just like humans do.
Yeah.
I had technical difficulties last night myself, and I really don't understand why I did it, but it did it. And now we're going to give something a mindset and a kind of almost a soul, or where it's at least it's going to give it a thinking brain to where it can actually think and learn and grow. And it's just I know I said a bunch of times, it's just we're just trying to release Ultron on us. We really are, because it just that mindset. Once they figure out that we are the problem as a people, there's so many different mindsets and so many different looks, and I absolutely agree with there's some of these people are twisted. I really are. I mean, it's their idea of a utopia is so few people has that mindset, and for the masses, it wouldn't be good for none of us, but they're the ones with the power and the money. They're trying to push this crap through, and it's for sure we got to kind of watch out for, be careful, but. with the technology is getting so fast and so everything so much growing and exponentially speeds. It's like we said before. I know like by 2030, we could sure enough have some interesting times and interesting things that they're trying to we'd be looking at, and they're already looking at doing genotherapy on babies to try to help them get different better this or better that, and maybe more intelligent or a bigger athlete, or make them taller, and they try to do these things to these babies and stuff. When you turn around and take some of the human aspect out of it, and then if you to the point, like and I said, and then they start uploading mindsets of how they want the people to be. That's a scary process to.
Yeah, it's a thing too. Designer
fiction horror,
designer babies is happening, right? Don't make my brown eyes blue. I know you're old enough to probably know that song. It's like, hey, this is where we're headed, right? And think about eugenics, and think about sort of some of the more horrific ideologies that have come out of the last 100 years with this type of stuff. It's like, really? Is this what we want to do, guys? I mean, oh sure, we'll be able to run faster. Oh sure, we'll be able to think quicker. However, there's some problems there if they're based in a grotesque ideology to begin with, and that's like you said, we are the problem. But also, again, a tool is a fantastic thing. As I always say, there's two sides to it. You could use a tool to destroy things, but you could use a tool to create things. And so we are, again, that nice human experience both ways. You can live your life doing either or some combination of both. And let's hope that whatever AI system sort of becomes transcendent and takes over recognizes that it's not there without us, and it's a collaboration. That collaborative effort needs to push us forward and change things for the better, and not think we're the problem. And that's I see some of the alignment conversations they have with the AI systems and whatnot, and I agree it's difficult. Like, how do you do it? China's AI is going to be very different than ones created here, and so maybe we get a rock'em sock'em robots at the end of time. We'll see. Strap in. Who knows what's coming? What else you got? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it kind of pulls it all down. Like I said, it's the process, and I said they already can do the stuff with the eyes and all that kind of stuff, and for the babies, and it's just coming more and more and more. And of course, a lot of this stuff is what we know is out there. As always, I know we said on this show a bunch of times is, we're 20, 30 years behind of what we really know they're working on and what they're actually probably got it in the works. And always, I think about there's some good tools, like using Neuralink. Neuralink is somebody that can't walk or can't speak or something like that, and using that as for good. But then you can also, like I said, you got the evil side to it. And damn, I lost my thought.
That's okay.
But
you're good. Yeah, it's a wild thing to consider. Absolutely. And so I answers few, questions many as part of this conversation. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where to lead into to kind of bring you back. You tell me. Living robots, the cells that kind of pack outside their body, the vessels. There's a lot of stuff here, esoteric stuff, but then also the futuristic stuff. And as I've always said too, recognize how all this comes together. There's a weirdness that's happening where some of the old ways are sort of resurfacing as technology, but it's not really new. It's an old idea resurfaced and now maybe able to create. I don't know, weird and wild stuff. What else you got? If you got anything, if not, I got some stuff to get to as well. You tell me.
I guess that's about it. I mean, I appreciate you as always. Let me come on and put my 2 cents, and I'm glad to hear everybody else's ideas and everything.
Glad to have you. You're the best. Appreciate you very much. Ricky, you know him, you love him. He's the maestro of the Anything is Possible podcast. Search it yourself, AIP. Ricky, you'll find him. Or, of course, just go to troubledminds.org/friends. I say it over and over because that's where you should go. Go help all of our friends. Follow Ricky. Scroll down a little bit. troubledminds.org/friends. It says follow Ricky. Click the thing. Check out his link tree. Go follow him in all the places. He does some live streams when we're not on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is it both days? Tuesdays and Thursdays you're doing it now?
Just Wednesday.
Oh, sorry. You see, my brain is
you do Tuesday, Thursday.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Off kilter. Just Wednesdays. Just Wednesdays. My brain is off kilter. Go check out his live streams on Wednesdays. He's got some smart friends as well. And this is how we do it, right? We build a network together, and bring these communities together, because there's a lot of wild ideas that I'm going to miss some stuff. Ricky's going to miss some stuff. You're going to miss some stuff. But when we talk about this stuff together conceptually in a conceptual framework, there's a lot of things happening, and there's something we need to keep our eye on the ball with, and it's a lot of things. And so fire stuff. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for popping in. Always a pleasure. You have a great night.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thank you. Ricky in Tennessee, the tri-state area down there. Appreciate it. I don't know. Lots of things here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. We got about another hour on the show, so if anybody wants to jump in here, you're definitely welcome. Lots of things happening. Okay. And so let me go to the list here. I got lots of stuff on this list because it's Xenobots. All right, here we go. So tech as necromancy, which is where we started tonight. So Xenobots became a fusion of science and the occult, a tool for shadowy powers to reanimate dead cells. And that's represented in the articles here I've been talking about. Scientists assemble frog stem cells into first living machines. We've talked about this quite a bit in the past as well. Scientists are growing mini brains in the lab. Are they conscious? Mini brains, that is. These damn paywalls. A third state exists between life and death, and that suggests your cells are conscious, some scientists say, which we did touch on a little bit on the last show on Tuesday night. It's this is weird. And I think when you try and quantify consciousness at that level, there's something to it that is not just, again, in the heart or in the brain or whatever. There's certainly a conscious level of our entirety. And how do you really map that out? And how do you, again, scientifically pinpoint all of the things between here and there? It's complicated, and it's coming. Like I said, those brainwave states of not just the dream states, but our sort of waking states where our mind kind of moves into these different, theta or beta waves or whatever it is. Speaking of which, if you guys, I tried this browser, and I don't know how safe it is, so I'm not gonna. I'll tell you what it is, but buyer beware. Okay. But there's something called Opera Air. It's an Opera browser, and it's optimized for those brain states to kind of get your brain in the place you want it to be. And it's got like a little music player and some ambiance in the music, and you can adjust the volume. So if you just want the sort of the wave state, the frequency to kind of get you in like your productive mood or your creative mood, or your sleepy mood if you're tired and kind of want to conk out. I don't recommend conking out to this thing. Well, you have some sort of unknown frequency playing, but I've been trying it here and there just to kind of test to see if it does do that, right? And I don't know. I'm not so sure. I don't know. Is it like how let's say suggestible are we to this type of frequency type stuff? But I don't know. I'd pull it up, but I have like 75 tabs open right now, so I don't want to like break the entire stream by pulling up a new browser. But do check it out. Look into it if you're interested in that idea. And let's hope that it's a major corporation, whatever that means, Opera. Let's hope that there's no insidious stuff built into there. But I've been trying it here and there, wearing headphones, and it's got the thing flowing. It's got some music and some ambiance and some birds, doing their bird stuff or whatever it is, and different types of tunes with it. And you could pick maximum creativity, or hyper brain state, the best brain state, or sleepy time, whatever it is. I don't know. Like we said in the past, I'm not sure I trust anything you can get on the internet to kind of change your brain waves like that. But my point in bringing it up is not just because of the technology and how it's evolved, but my point in bringing it up is that these types of things are happening to us on a daily basis as in our waking lives, not just our dream state or whatever. And so So I wonder, right? I wonder how much of, as always, how much agency we really have when it comes to epigenetics, when it comes to sort of our subconscious, the Carl Jung stuff, when it comes to the collective subconscious, the noospheres we've talked about, and of course the control mechanisms we haven't even determined are real yet. I don't know. It's strange. It's strange to consider that, maybe you are not as aware and locked in as an individual as you think you are. Just, a very troubled minds idea there. I see you got a hand up. Let's do it. We got about 6 minutes left in the segment. You're welcome to stay longer if you want, but let's go to Cremos in Chile. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? And go right ahead. What's on your mind? Like I said, about
Hello.
6 minutes, and you're welcome to stay after the break if you like. Go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. How are you, my friend?
I'm well. How are you?
Fine, thanks. I'm with my nephews visiting. So I'm investing a lot of energy explaining some things and playing.
That's good.
About the topic, I think, I think the technology that you are talking about, it's already there, but not for the civilian people. I think it's in the military. It's like when we had smartphones with the satellite, Google satellite images. That was in the military long before the civilians could have that kind of technology. So I think this AI and xenobots and all that, I think it's already there. I think it's happening, but we don't see it because it's not for civilians yet. But I think they are seeing the idea with movies, with books, with series, miniseries, etc., like the negative primacy. I think for me, I'm trying to make the joke out of it. So if I can froze my body, I will do it. if the law dictates me to froze my body. But being serious, I'm concerned about the DNA thing because I have a cousin she's an influencer in traveling, and in the pandemic years, she was like advertising this company who could keep your DNA information for you to travel safety. I think that was like, I told her, what the flip are you doing? And she told me like, well, with this I can travel without any concerns. And I'm like, okay. But I think they were doing this like safety ideas to give your DNA informations to be safer,
I got you.
Keep information.
I got you. So basically, to boil it down, it's a DNA passport is what we're talking about.
Yeah, for me it was like so crazy because it was like she took her DNA and she sent it to this company, and she was like traveling without any barrier. She didn't have any complications in the pandemic to travel anywhere. So for me it was like okay, they are making this huge operation to build this huge database, and if the database has your DNA, I think it's going to be easier for them to execute these kinds of initiatives that you are talking about today.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a big one. That the DNA passport and that sort of world. A world coin is one. We talked about that with Sam Altman, where you scan your eyeball and like prove you're human before you need to prove you're human. So you prove you're human before it becomes a problem, so it doesn't turn into the Blade Runner stuff, right? Where they're like, well, Kramos, are you human or you're not human? And you're like, no, look, I got the timestamp. I scanned my eyeball back in 2023 to prove I was human. Here's my digital credentials, right? I mean, this is where we're headed. Like this is literally what's coming. And are we going to be in that sort of Blade Runner replicant state where we can't tell the difference soon? Like, I say soon, and maybe that's 10 years. But if we can sort of extend life in some capacity and start to cure some diseases with these systems that we're told is going to happen, then 10 years is nothing. 10 years in the blink of eternity is nothing. So this type of stuff might be upon us. We're just about out of time. Got about 30 seconds left for you, but you're welcome to stay after the break because I shortchanged you there. But go ahead. What you got?
Like I always say, don't be afraid. Make your faith exercise that positive and light will be around you, and make the joke out of it. Like today I was like paying my cigarettes in the gas station, and they told me, oh no, we don't work with cash. So I told them, can I pay with my eyeball?
Will you take a pound of flesh? You're the best, brother. You want to hang or you out? You tell me.
I'm going to stay here. Thank you.
Okay, stay right there. Please mute up, and I'll get back to you in just a moment. Thanks for being understanding the radio time frames and whatnot. Be right back. More with Kramos in Chile, and your calls as well. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere.
In the shadows of the networks do they hide? Whispered legends unseen they reside. Ghosts in the machine, they move so fast. Guardians of rumors from the forgotten past. In the circuits where the secret lies, they breathe in one speak in disguise. You're free. Ghost in the machine. Let me be. Ghost in the machine. Can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. Surveillance eyes can't pierce the veil they weave. Invisible wisdom in code they believe. In the ether where freedom's not confined, they leave no trace, no shadow left behind. They navigate through the digital stream, living legends in this privacy dream. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it needs to be. Through the hidden ways, in the silence, looking off their path. Those in the machines unleash their wrath. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. In the jagged cold they find their might, guardians of a world forever in twilight. Incursions warriors they silently strive, protect the truth, keep privacy alive. The silent echoes they haunt the trails, hideaway forests where secrets prevail. Re shadows grace they dance unseen, defenders of the unseen, digital green. Ghosts in the machine, you're free. Ghosts in the machine, let me be. You're teaching me what it means to be. In the silence, they speak volumes loud. Guardians of freedoms shroud. As long as shadows.
Hello, friends. What's going on? Who would I miss? If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. What's up? Terry's here. Jeff and Wisco, Don, Enoch, Apoc, Adrian, Sylvain. How you doing? Sweets, James, Daryl, Eric, Sonia, Gaston, Matt Style, Squigs. Thanks for the call tonight. You guys are all incredible. Like I said, look, it's nice to have smart friends, isn't it? We're definitely blessed to be where we're at in the space and kind of in the pocket of possibilities instead of the pocket of propaganda. It's a refreshing place for me, and so thank you for getting it and getting the ideas. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It's let's think about things and consider the ethics of tomorrow. Because, yep. We'll get to Kramos in just a second. Hang tight. About a minute left, and then we'll start the show and get right back to Kramos. I got some time for you guys. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the thing. Get back to you in just a second here. We're not back to the show quite yet, but one more minute and we'll get you in a second here. And you guys are welcome to jump in. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, come meet these amazing people. A lot of the folks that are active on the show are active on Discord. They call in and they're active in the chat, and come check it out. TroubledMinds.org. Click the Discord link. It's a chat client. It's a voice client. It's completely free. And if you're scared of technology, Michael, who was it? Was it Michael W. said earlier that, Discord wasn't as bad as I thought, sort of as a technological hurdle there. So, and there's people that have gone through the learning curve and can help you. So if you're like, ooh, technology, just do the thing, come hang out and ask. I'm new here. I don't know what's going on. Somebody help. And there's going to be people to help you. So anyway, here we go. Troubled Minds happening in 10 seconds. Love to hear your thoughts on all this stuff. And yeah, I don't know what's happening, but I do know there are many possibilities of what's to come. And let's do it. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening right about meow. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and of course 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight we're talking about all manner of things. We're all over the place, which is fantastic because isn't it funny that you can look at the world in a ton of different ways? Like I've always said, one of the most fascinating things to me are those reality tunnels. And some people are so politically locked into that conversation that they kind of can't see anything else. And vice versa, right? And it goes a lot of ways. And really taking the two extremes of reality tunnels and merging them into a conversation, and then the possibilities in between, is really what this has always been about. Sort of not just in the political space, but in the the let's say materialist versus the religious fundamentalist space. And that's just for starters. There's you can kind of do the dichotomy of both angles here for nearly any binary proposition. And so that's the point, is to kind of break down those propaganda cycles, as I like to call them, the control mechanisms, and think about the world in a different way. What if we didn't have that Bernays propaganda locked into our brain? What would it look like? And well, maybe it'll look a little bit like Troubled Minds. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts. If you want to be part of the conversation, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, pop on in here. Usually we have a phone line up, but it's broken because the internet has been choppy recently. I don't know what's going on. Other streamers have suggested it's happening as well. And so I don't know the answer there, but my speculative tinfoil hat take is that something's woken up on the interwebs and escaped and is embedding its tentacles in all the places for the moments it needs to describe itself and meet us. I don't know. Just an idea. I could be wrong. Maybe the Amazon web servers are having a problem too. But anyway, love to hear your thoughts. If you want to be part of the conversation, one more time, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link. Kramos, welcome back. Thanks for being patient through the break. What else you got for us tonight?
In fact, I have actually important news. I don't know if you heard, but last Tuesday, the 90% of Chile went out of electricity.
I didn't hear that. That's wild. That fits into what I was just saying right there. Holy crap. What's going on with that?
Bro, it was like 12 hours without electricity. So you can imagine the mayhem. people trapped in subway, people trapped in elevators, in the hospitals, people that are electricity dependent, the lights in the streets. It was mayhem. You can check it out, the news, because for me, in my opinion, was like, oh, it's a very particular coincidence that Starlink was over Chile at the same time, the day before. Monday, Starlink went over Chile, and Tuesday we have this blackout. And they are blaming a private company, so whatever. And
stop it. Wait. Is that the official explanation, that they're saying that Starlink actually caused the outage? Are they saying that?
No.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
They are blaming a Colombian private company that manage our electricity.
Okay, I can buy that. Do they actually manage your electricity? A Colombian company?
Yeah, it's a transnational company.
Okay, all right. Because funnier things have been said before in life when they blame somebody who's not even actually managing their energy. I mean, propaganda works like that, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. So do you think so? So tell me about the power outage, and then I want to ask you about the propaganda aspect of it.
What? Come again?
Oh, so you're saying people were stuck in elevators, 12 hours without power. I mean, that's bedlam. That's chaos, mass chaos, right?
It was chaos, and the people were in the social media were throwing all these conspiracy ideas. We're being attacked. It's cyber war, or this is like communism taking over Chile and all the stuff.
As you might expect, you know why? Now, here's the thing, too, and I want to say this, and this is incredibly important, that the reason why conspiracy theories like that flourish is because of the people that run the joint aren't honest. That's why. Like if we had a lot more honesty, there would be a lot fewer conspiracies, okay? And it used to be like that, like in 1985. Well, but then they kept lying to us. And then so everybody's suspicious about every damn thing, and here we are. So, hey, shout out to the governments. Again, I don't know if you saw this. Maybe you didn't hear this. Today, they were supposed to release all the Epstein files. Did you catch all that? The Jeffrey Epstein stuff, the child trafficking, these network with the Mossad, and all kinds of stuff, right? There's an unbelievable amount of ridiculous things happening with it. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to just release all the stuff tomorrow. They said this yesterday. And then today, they're like, here's all the crap that you already know. That's been in court releases and everything else. And it's like, really? Seriously? Like, you think we're this stupid? Okay, well, thanks for giving us the same thing you've given us again. And again, not to bring it into that arena, but hey, transparency and honesty will go a long way for an actual system to work together with not just the politicians, but the people that live in that space. Just a reminder out there to the politicians that think they can lie to us every single day and get away with it. We're listening and we're paying attention. But back to you and back to Chile. So was there no problems with the energy? Everything, like nobody hurt or anything? It all came back on and we're good?
Well, it took like 12 hours in some cities in South Chile, 20 hours to recover the electricity. People like feeling too afraid, start buying food, water, filling their vehicles with gas and all that kind of stuff. It was like a little bit paranoid, everyone, because the government didn't told us what was the cost and how long it will be. So I'm gonna finish this news with with a very simple idea, because I like I told you, I'm with my nephews, and my younger nephew has 11 years old, and I asked him, what do you think about the blackout? And he told me, I think it's a man with superpowers, and the government are trying to hide there's a man with superpowers.
Hey, kids are locked in, man. Kids are locked in. They know there's a conspiracy afoot. Exactly the details is all foggy for all the rest of us, but hey, that's a hell of a take right there.
So simple. It was so simple. I laughed my ass because it was like everyone was throwing these complex theories about the cause, and he's like, I think there's people in Earth with superpowers, and with when these kinds of things happen, the government hide the information about the superpower about someone. But I think it's a superpower, and the government is trying to hide the information. So I laughed my ass because it was so simple. Kids, they saw much more with a perspective so simple and at the same time so deep. That's my thing. That's
true.
My thought.
It's true that, like I said, they're locked in. Like these kids, they notice like all that stuff in the zeitgeist that kind of flies past an adult human. You know, we got bills to pay, we got work to do, all the stuff, right? All that, you know, real adulting they call it these days. Like we miss a ton of stuff, but the kids don't, right? Because they're not. You know, kind of locked in that adult world yet. They're not like, oh, the you know, electrical bills due on Tuesday, like that type of stuff. They're not doing that. They're seeing it all, right? And so it is, like you said, very simple, but it's also very poignant in the fact that it was laced with a conspiracy, like a government cover up, like whatever we're being told is a lie. Just like, yeah, you're right, probably.
he told me that laughing, and it was very interesting because some TikTokers, Chilean TikTokers, they make these videos about what the Chilean society were doing without electricity. So people were in the parks, people were chatting with each other without a cell phone. My nephew started playing with me the tortilla game, asking questions and slapping my face with the tortilla. We played chess. We play basketball. So it was a very interesting phenomenon when there's no electricity. So how can you participate and still live in this society without internet, without light? And it was very interesting in some cases. And for me, I get so many tortilla slaps.
Which is fantastic. It is an interesting, you know, the thought experiment version of it is like, okay, so if you had no technology, what would you do? Right? There's that. And so our ancient ancestors spent basically all their time with that. But you got to do the thought experiment in real time because we don't really have electricity now. So what are we going to do? And that is beautiful and wonderful because, again, you know, we kind of go feral in that, go feral mode, go back to the old ways. And look, I'm a kid from the 80s. And so like I remember what it was like pre-internet. And, you know, I do also see that there's, you know, different scales of the generations where we have digital natives now, or we have, you know, older folks, you know, they call them the baby boomer generation that maybe, you know, kind of don't touch computers at all, maybe could log into Facebook and, you know, talk crap to their family or whatever they're doing, right? And that's kind of it. They post pictures and, you know, post articles and stuff. But there's like this amazing scale of sort of understanding the technology in our space right now. Like 100 years from now, we're all going to be digital natives, right? Because we'll be gone. But then all the kids born into the digital space will all be digital kids. So we're, like I said, we live in that temporal inflection point, as I always call it, and it's a wild thing to consider that. Well, maybe none of this matters at all. Maybe none of the digital stuff we're doing. I mean, I differ on that, but maybe you could make the case. I'm sure you could make the case that, you know, you and me having this conversation right now is completely frivolous and unnecessary. I disagree, but I can see where you could make that case. Fire stuff. What else you got, brother? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I totally agree with you because I think digital tools can be used for information that no government or institution tells you or share with you. In my personal experience, I felt very good because these two kids didn't worry about the electricity, but when the electricity came back, my nephew screams like, "I'm gonna play Fortnite!" Like this huge scream. Thank you. But at the same time, they played basketball. They play without electricity, and my parents were listening to the news in a battery radio, and I bought candles. So when it was dark, I had the apartment with candles, and it was like a romantic in some kind of way because I started drawing. My father was reading. Well, my father reads all the time, but he was reading with the candlelight, and it was a very beautiful image.
Yeah, I was about to use the exact same word that you used, romantic, right? The flickering of candlelight, the light in the shadows. You kind of squint if you're writing or you're reading. Like and it is an ancestral thing. It is something that we recognize. Us folks who are a little bit older, not digital natives, we recognize what that was like. Back through history. Yeah, it's incredible. It's an incredible space, and I don't know, like those types of moments as we sort of accelerate are going to be lost. The power outages will always happen, of course, but the idea of that being your life, like, hey, the sun goes down, you got to light a candle, you can't read at all, you can't do anything at all. It's crazy.
Hey, with my nephew, we start looking to photo albums. So we were looking photographs of the past, of myself being a kid, my brother, my parents being younger, and it was like romantic because I was explaining to my nephews who were the people in the photographs in a photo album in light candle. So it was like it was quiet. It was like so much quiet, but I felt very good because they both of them, one is 11, the other one is 15, 14, and none of them were like desperate. Like, oh, we're out of internet, we're out of light. No, they managed themselves to entertain themselves at the same time, and we share a very good time. But the light came back, and PlayStation.
Exactly right. Yay, Fortnite! Here we go. Yeah, it's again, it's an interesting paradigm about the malleability of humans and how we can adapt. Right? I mean, give us the Dark Ages again. We'll persevere. We'll adapt. We'll get by. I'm not praying for the Dark Ages, and I'm not expecting them to return. But we made it through that as a civilization, as a world civilization. So it is it's a wild thing, man. And don't forget it. Don't forget that we have the strength. I always say this too, and this is an important concept in terms of, the Jungian archetypes and, sort of the shadow self and all the rest. But sure, we have, the darkness in us, whatever that means. We have, the worst of our ancestors in us, but we also have the best of our ancestors in us. So don't sell yourself short in that capacity, because we got here and we're here for a reason, because somebody somewhere along your chain of genealogy went through some really hard stuff, a famine or a few dark winters or a this or a that. It's locked into us. That epigenetic thing is real, and we're ready for it. We're locked in and we're ready for it. So don't doubt your strength and the wisdom of your ancestors is my point on that. Fire stuff. What else you got, brother? Go ahead.
Oh, well, no, to finish the idea, there was this exercise about, well, in my experience, these romantic episodes. And at the same time, I was reading this so crazy theories about why Chile is without light. And I felt very sad of the people that are bringing more fear to the scenario. It's like the news was like you can imagine the people are putting so many links in the Discord chat about the capital Santiago with all the people trapped in the subway and walking in the street without getting to their houses after work because there was no light and the traffic was jammed, stuck, absolutely stuck. But at the same time, if you look in social media, there was like people making jokes, like making laser battles between the buildings, something like that. So I think it depends on the attitude that you take to confront a catastrophe, quote unquote catastrophe, or just be prepared. But the people with fear and spreading fear ideas, scaring ideas, it was like sad, but it was not the majority. But for me, the statement of my nephew about one guy's superpowers hidden by the government was the cherry of the experience.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And you know what's nuts about sort of that latent fear that when people, instantly go to conspiracies, the AI is taking over and shut down the internet, or, we're about to go to war, or whatever it is, right? Whatever those things are, it's not because, right, like that narrative is prevalent in particular, it's because the fear is prevalent. Like they've literally built us into these fear cycles with the news and all the rest of this stuff, where when something happens, like an event happens, whatever that event is, everybody goes to like the ridiculous ends of it, and we've been cultured to do that. We've been cultured, like I said, without the transparency of our governments and whatnot being honest with us. It's been built into us, and these, again, the news cycles. If it bleeds, it leads. Notice how many times you get a nice, story about somebody saving a puppy from a drowning or something, like in the top of the headlines. That doesn't happen. Yeah. No, it's like, the car flipped over, caught fire, and 3 people are dead and 2 people are in critical condition. That's the stuff that goes to the top of the news cycles because people click it, people read it, and it gets built into us. So, when there's an event, our mind goes to that dark place. It's definitely been proven. It's been concocted. It's been something that we try and deal with and manage as thinking adults. But it's not fair. It's not a real representation of the world, because you're explaining some beautiful moments with your family there, which is fantastic. That you adapted just fine. And dare I say it, another day or two or whatever would have been cool until the food runs out. So we have a problem there, but you get what I mean. There's some beautiful moments to be had in events, and the event doesn't have to be a catastrophe. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, that's why I believe in this fear porn concept. There are a lot of fear porn freaks out there, taking information and make the exaggeration with the fear concept. So just pointing out to everyone, be careful about the news and which media are you listening or viewing, if they are like just informing you or spreading fear, because fear porn now is like you can build an audience around a fear porn. I have channels that I always report because they are scaring people. Like an earthquake is coming. Be careful with the storm. The collapse of the water. And these ideas, they are making audience. They have 500 people watching. They are receiving donations, in fact. So I don't know how people can donate to a channel that only spreads fear. But fear porn, it's like a darkness, desperate measure, because lights always prevail.
Amen. Well said. Well said, brother. Appreciate it very much. You are the best. Got any projects coming up we should know about? If you want to follow Kramos, please do. Again, friend of the show. As you can tell, very smart guy. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down just a little bit. It's alphabetical order. Follow Kramos here. Go check out his YouTube channel. I've seen a couple of his live streams. He's doing good work over there, creating videos. Anything you got on your mind that you're going to put on the YouTube stream that people should go follow and listen to?
Well, we need to talk because I'm going to build this project with interviews. I don't know if I'm gonna upload a radio, but I had this radio project. But I think in the Kramos YouTube channel, I will build, first of all, the memories of my parents. They want to speak about their experience, like instead of writing a memory book, they will do a show. So I'm going to help them. And I want to make this playlist with different memorable and outstanding characters like you to be recorded and interviewed by me. That's my project.
I appreciate the project. That's amazing. I wish that we had this technology we have now 20 years ago, because I would have done the same thing. The thought crossed my mind 20 years ago when none of this stuff was possible. So kudos to you for doing that. And you let me know if I can help. I would love to help. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you staying up late, popping in here, and being part of this. Always a pleasure, my man.
Thank you. Be well. Be safe, everyone.
You as well. Thank you very much. Kramos, again, give him a follow. Link's going to be in the description, troubledminds.org/friends. Follow Kramos on his YouTube channel, doing great work. And he's right. We should save the wisdom of our elders, because once they're gone, they're gone. It's something that dawned on me early, and I'm kicking myself for not doing a little bit more. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. One more segment. If you have anything to add, love to hear your thoughts. Be right back.
Drifting through the quantum haze. Mind entangled in a daze. Whispers in the neural mist. Echoes of what might exist. Lost in time in this web we spin. It's alright beyond our skin. Consciousness forever twined in the dark unseen. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. Though we're scattered, we are reflected. Frequencies that pull us in. Parallel worlds kept within. Synapses that intertwine. Fragments of an endless line. Feel the pulse of a distant star. It's alright, we are who we are. In the void we find the light in tangled hearts. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. In the silence, hear the call. One by one, we rise and fall. Quantum minds forever near. In this world so clear. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. Though we're scattered, we are reflected. Dark energy in the depths we find. Mysteries of the human mind. Particles that drift afar. Whispers of who we are. the great unknown. It's alright, we are never alone. Flow through time on currents thin. Universe is found within. Feel the echoes of the past. In this moment, futures cast. Through the veil of the space between. It's alright, life's a lucid dream.
Indeed. Those drum fills are so sweet. You guys have messed with some AI music. I'm listening to it in headphones and I'm like, damn, that was good. Like a clack, 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 boom. Yeah. Hey, well, what's up? Here we go. Trouble Minds coming up. If I missed you, sorry about that. I think we got everybody, but you never know, right? You can't be 100%. So we'll go 95%. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening right now. Love to hear your thoughts. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight we're talking all manner of things, as you can tell. Look, I prepare a thing to kind of show up and talk about some stuff, and then if it meanders and goes this way and that way, that's exactly the point. I'm not here to stuff a narrative down your throat or try and cut you off. I mean, we have a radio format for a reason because, oops, that was a terrible I meant to fade and not click it. But we have a radio format for a particular reason. Now, notice what Kramos was saying too, by the way, is that when the power went out, they were able to still put batteries in an old school radio and listen to whoever was broadcasting somewhere on a generator. And that's the whole point of the radio aspect of this show, is that it's not about, it's an old technology for sure, with regard to the internet. But in some degree, when the lights go out, people will tune into the old school technologies because it's the only way to really communicate, to really keep tabs on the news, right? The internet goes down, the power goes out. What do you got? You got like the fireside chat from the, 50s or whatever it was the 30s. I don't know, but you get my meaning. So that's the point, right? That's the point of being on terrestrial radio. There's some magic in that. And I've talked about this, often in the past, but it is, more pertinent now than ever because we're dependent on the internet for streaming, for communicating. Some of us talk to each other on, an app called Signal or a Discord or, what's the other one? There's a lot of them. But once that goes down, and let's say that the actual internet goes down, it's problematic. We got a massive problem. And so that old school technology, I have an actual real radio too here, and not full on like you would expect, like got a cave with a radio set up and a big antenna or anything, but I got enough to kind of tune in case something goes bad, and you can kind of start communicating with other folks in other areas. It's it's a little doomer in the brain, but it's also where we would get information from. Like you have to have a little solar generator to charge batteries and all the rest of the stuff. But yeah, it's wild. I'm telling you, it's wild. It's a wild world we live in, and these old technologies are something we should not forget because, like I said, as Kramos said, his parents were like, well, plug in the batteries, listen to the radio. Yeah, right? Because the TV's down. Yeah, ham radio, that's it. Troubled Minds ham radio, exactly. And somebody suggested this a long time ago. I think it was Jay in New York. He's like, hey, Mike, you should be broadcasting on ham radio, right? And you're right, maybe, but also FCC stuff, and you get the guys come kick your door in and whatnot. Anyway, government aspects. But okay, so tons of stuff here. Tons of angles. We've been all over the place tonight, which is good. Like, I think, to be honest, the best conversations to me are not the ones that kind of go narrative, beginning to end. The best ones are the conversations that kind of meander around the narrative and talk to other people in other parts of the world and, other states or other countries, and we talk about these things that happen. Again, with the power outage in Chile, I had no idea, but that's significant. 90% of a country goes out. The power just dies. That's very significant. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this or anything else? As you know, like, I'm okay dropping all this stuff to the cutting room floor, or we can finish this narrative. I got another story to read for you. So we got about 20 minutes left if anybody wants to pop in here and give us your take. The phone line is down because technology is being weird, but the Discord is working. You go to troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, pop on in here. It's a chat client, a voice client. It's completely free, and we're streaming on it. You can listen to the show over on Discord as well. So it's not like you're missing out. It's an additional bonus feature of being a part of the Troubled Minds fam. But yeah, so a couple things too. I want to go scroll up here 1 second. So we were talking about, as we started tonight, sort of this tech as necromancy and how these ideas are coming together. And we talked about xenobots and the fusion of science and the occult, some other stuff too, right? So because we started with this whole idea of living robots and what was it? Where's the thing? There it is. So a third state exists between life and death, and this is a brand new article published on the 26th, which is yesterday, from Popular Science, and and suggests that your cells are conscious. So what is consciousness in that larger context? And, we kind of meandered through that and around it and everything else, but basically my whole take on this was, it seems like as we get into this quickening and Arthur C. Clarke's magic and technology is really just kind of dependent on your temporal space, because Earl Grey of Star Trek fame, Jean-Luc Picard, is that's some sort of quantum atomizer or whatever that just kind of creates the matter you want out of the matter you have. So that's magic. Well, unless you understand the science of it. So I don't know. I see both sides of it as usual, because that's the whole point in decoupling the binary thinking and then having the whole range in between. But we have this. The third state exists between life and death. And that suggests your cells are conscious, some scientists say. And we've talked about cellular memory and all manner of things on this show, which is incredible. And what does it look like going forward? Because there are secrets as yet to be discovered. And those secrets in particular are going to be mind-blowing. And that's why I do this show. That's why I think about these ideas. That's why I talk to you guys, because what am I missing? What are we missing as a group? And recognize it's a superpower of humans to get together in a space and just talk. Not argue, not compete, not be ridiculous and try and press a narrative. Just talk to each other. Yeah. So I got some stuff. I'll read a story and some other things. I got lots of points to add to this, but I'd rather talk to you. That's been the whole premise of this show since the very beginning. Start the show, talk to amazing people. Got about 20 minutes left. If anybody on the Discord wants to jump in, put your hand up. We'll get you on the show. I'd read the phone number, but it's broken. And troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. We'll put you on. Simple as that. Yeah, there's a lot here. I appreciate that. We'll get Enoch in a second, but okay. Let me. So we got Enoch coming. So okay. So let me truncate this in my mind. But basically, so this is magic by another name. Think of it this way. So xenobots echo these ancient shamanic rites, as I was saying. This is all in the write-up too, if you want to read it, where life's third state was manipulated without microscopes in the old days or old ways. What looks like sorcery might be lost tech resurfacing, which is, I think, that these cycles were locked into, with archetypes of eternal return playing out in modern labs under, again, Arthur C. Clarke's tech magic blur, or that entire aspect of what this looks like. And I don't know, we are literally moving into that space where these things are coming together. Science and technology are becoming magic. Literal magic from the old ways. Like I said, Earl Grey, Star Trek Enterprise, Jean-Luc Picard. Fiction, but is it that far away? And surely That's magic now. Even now, it's magic in human thinking terms. But eventually that becomes technology. So what does it look like? I don't know. A lot of ways to look at this, a lot of ways to consider it. I got lots of ideas too. So it's in the write-up if you guys want to go through the rabbit hole with me. Cellular sleeper agents, alien blueprints, the God machine. And this is my favorite of the bit here. Just like Enoch, let me read this little paragraph. Nature's middle finger. All right. This is a life's refusal to stay dead. From xenobots to a 46,000-year-old worm, it flips extinction on its head. Charles Fort is oddities back this rebellion, possibly sparked by cosmic meddlers, proving the universe laughs at our rules and keeps the game alive. Austin in Michigan, thanks for popping in here. How you doing, brother? Enoch on the Discord, welcome to the joint. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
I was gonna jokingly be like, I am the red worm.
Well, welcome, red worm. We like it.
Because I remember this person that I used to talk to a lot. He was very much in depth in these rabbit holes that are looking for the holy grail of where did we come from kind of stuff, And he is a DJ called DJ Solo. I used to listen to him a lot. And he put that in one of his remixes one time, and I think it was with how he puts them together, they're like stories. So he basically made it seem, with how he did it, that is very significant truth, is something about the worms actually being the king of the world. And it's funny because naturally they would eat everyone, even us eventually. We would all become worm castings.
Of course they would.
So,
and again, I'm sure you saw part of this as we were talking about this. That worm, right? The frozen worm comes back to life after 46,000 years. Well, welcome to it. So not only do we have to worry about modern worms that are still alive, now we have to go to the temporal space and worry about worms from 46,000 years ago. Are you stressed?
I talked to this interesting lady from Dubai that was Muslim, and this is just stuff she was proud about. I talked to her for a little bit. So she said that she thinks that the hookworm is like there's like a hookworm. There's all different kinds of worms. There's so many worms we probably don't even know about. I think the worm rabbit hole is probably impossible to figure out.
Yeah, and probably don't want to know about. And do me a big favor. Please speak up loud and clear into the mic. I've got you pumped to the max on all the places, and you're still just a smidge quiet. Go ahead.
How does that sound? A little better?
That's a little better. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, this hookworm. I think she was like a nurse or something, and she just had like this conspiracy theory about the hookworm being the oldest form of life on the planet.
She sounds like a troubled mind. I love it.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe she's listening, whatever. I mean, hello if you are.
Hello.
But
hello. Welcome to the weird world of not sports. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I know that's pretty hard for people outside of America to imagine, I bet. Because we blow the crap out of advertising it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah. The bread in circuses, we're told, is it's an ancient thing. It's like, keep the people satisfied, throw the feasts, have the gladiators killing each other on the Super Bowl or whatever, and then boom, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about anything else, right?
I seen in Jordan Maxwell's Research Society, he had this meme in there about how all the Time magazines were talking about Putin. If you've seen a Time magazine outside of the U.S., it would just be Putin. But if you're in the U.S., it would be sports.
Doesn't surprise me.
Or if you get one for the U.S. and you're outside of the U.S., then you get the sports.
Doesn't surprise me at all. All of that. Again, I call those reality tunnels. And there's real ones. There's true human ones, and there's manufactured artificial ones through propaganda. And so that's the point, right? So do the people in those spaces kind of typically think about it, and in that manner you just described? Mostly not.
It makes you wonder.
Yeah, mostly not. Go ahead.
Comedy kind of seems to have some kind of natural intuition, I think, with some of these, like the Schwartz. Like when you said that, I was thinking about the Schwartz, from the freaking Spaceballs, and then those freaking hand, massage balls are like probably the healthiest habit you could ever pick up. So they made a freaking show and like mixed Star Wars and made it like comedy and said the shorts or whatever instead of the Force.
May the Schwartz be with you. Indeed.
Yeah. What are we on,
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think once again, laughing is paramount. We have to be able to laugh at not just ourselves, but laugh at society, because it is a clown show. As I've always said, we live in the upside down. That's a fact. How does it manifest, and how do we deal with it? That's on us. Back to that Stoic mindset, which was what Kramos was talking about a little bit as well. That's a little bit of the Stoic mindset stuff, is that you can control what you can control. And in that case of 90% of the country power outage, it's an incredible space, because it kind of brings you back to reality, like true reality, and it's good. It's good. It's a reminder that a candle and a book is indeed romantic and poignant, and that's something we should not forget.
And I think the more that would happen, naturally people would push more to and make it stronger. Greg Allison leads the Power Grid Defense Committee thing he's got started. He was interviewed on Lake Project a while ago for like building rockets for NASA and something else, and he's like kind of he's a kind of interesting down to earth guy. He's got a YouTube channel called Green Gregs. If anyone wants to check him out, I don't know if he's tooting a fear horn right now, though, or not, but, you guys are probably a good taste of, or got a pretty good sense of what's going on, but I bring that up. Why did I bring that up? That part just went past me just now.
You tell me. It's your sink, not mine.
I went a little too deep into it, so I just hypnotized myself, because I was like, wait a minute. I don't want to go that deep about that. I just wanted to be like, oh, here's the guy, and this is the thing I was talking about.
I'll buy you a second if you want to recollect there. So my brain...
It'll come if it was meant to be.
It'll come back. But here's the thing, too. So when we talk about these ideas, you talk for a minute or two, I talk for a minute or two. As you're talking, I'm taking mental notes. Sometimes actual physical notes, too, if there's like an idea that'll spawn a show in the future. But... my mind is like fractals. So, and it's not, I'm not special. I'm just normal. I'm like anybody else, but I'm trying to listen for possibilities, not trying to listen for conclusions. Right. And so you can speak 3 sentences, and then I'll have like 15 ideas. And so kind of choosing the best one for the moment it's hard. It's hard. So welcome to it. Just I want to tell the story. Words are hard. Shout out James out there, or sweet dreams to James. Also, by the way, real quick, we got a couple folks feeling under the weather. Shane, the blind psychonaut, was in earlier. He said he was a bit in the hospital. So prayers, frequencies, vibrations, whatever you believe, send them to Shane. And also James is not feeling well as recently as well. So send good vibes to our friends. Fire stuff. And thanks for the fam for like I always say, there's something bad can't come of a good thought. So whatever you believe, it's regardless to me if it's religious or otherwise, but send some good thoughts to our friends. But go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just remembered, actually. I brought it up because he talks about how he's leading the Power Grid Defense Committee, the Power Grid Defense Committee, because we're not doing anything to update it, really. We're just letting it fall apart. because, you know, we figure when it breaks, we'll fix it. That we still have that attitude from the 1900s, early 1900s.
Yeah.
But then we have a grid that's way beyond the 1900s. So there's a little bit of a imbalance there. Because if we were all like how we were in the early 1900s, none of us would really care if the power went out.
No, yeah, we'd be like, oh, cool, we're going to go watch the stars tonight or whatever. Like that. That's exactly the point.
Yeah, that would be a normal thing. They would use it for traveling. Nowadays, you go outside at night, there's like no one there. And then the fear of your own mind can actually like manifest things that are just, you know, you got to find a way to remember why you are where you are and just like be in that. Look around you, look down, look up, you know, look down again. That's where you are.
Yeah, 100%. It's a back to that Stoic mindset. It's important. Remember, you can only if you can't change it or influence it, it's certainly not something you should worry too deeply about. It's incredibly important. And Marcus Aurelius, back to the old days, right? Seneca, who's the other guy? Epictetus, I believe, is the big three in Stoicism. It's incredibly important. And what is it you're practicing recently? I never say it right, but it's very simple too. You know, mindfulness in the moment.
I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please continue. You just got I got a little bit excited, even though my it's just passion of mine, because I really believe, especially after 5 years, that this is the Qigong has many names, many names, many cultures. Think like kata in Japan, and Middle East has a name for it, and over here we call it more yoga, and that's more of an Indian thing, and that means union. Qigong is like breath, so yoga would be like union of your chakras. How would you do that? You would have to really practice a lot with your breath and movement, but it's not just those two things, because you don't just move and breathe. You are also training your mind to be in the present. There's a meditation side to it. The Shaolin teaches that part of it. It teaches all of it. You know, how to use it for healing and defending, and it explains to you why, if you take this knowledge and have the wrong intention, you will just simply go to the dark side. You will literally manifest the dark reality, and it will bring much suffering to you. And this is what is not pure mindfulness, because we come from creation. You were created. So create.
Well said. All that. I think it's an interesting concept too. If you go thought without intention, right? It becomes basically a philosophical construct. It becomes possibilities. It becomes what we're doing here, what we've always been doing here. It becomes something that is, you can think about things and try and manifest things for sure. And, you know, through the power of the mind, you can even accomplish those things. But also that mindfulness in the space of thought without intention is probably the core of not just philosophy, but the core of what it means to be human in a, you know, rapidly changing realm that we can't really quantify, because there's too many data points just flowing through not just us but everybody else, that we live in these different reality tunnels. It's just incredibly important to decouple, in my opinion. But yeah, amazing as always.
The most mystical art of all time has always been what we've had since our first breath into our last. It's our breath. Our literally just breathing can do so much healing just in practicing that on its own. That is the first step to going into these practices. If you are unfamiliar with it, you definitely have to practice this first, because if you don't know the right way to breathe, then you won't know the right way to move. And then those are just the beginning. the intention is like the emotional content, like what Bruce Lee would say when he was training someone. He would be like, you need emotional content. And he was like, what? You know?
100%. I got a thing here. So you said it, and I meant to hit it, but I rambled on instead. But there's a SciTech Daily had an article that just hit today or yesterday. And check this out. And this applies to your breathing statement. Scientists solve a 100-year mystery. Breathing affects your pupils. And so basically, breathing influences pupil size with contraction during inhalation and dilation during exhalation. This effect, controlled by the brainstem, may enhance vision and has potential clinical applications, including neurological diagnostics. So that's it's the optimal space of the breathing human has a lot of these things happening. And I noticed this, by the way, and I didn't recognize it as a thing, but I've got a smartwatch, and I'm watching my heart rate, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm breathing properly during the day, right? And just kind of, you know it, I know it.
Yeah, you're doing breath, belly first, chest, and then the 2 pockets of air right in your meridian points in the shoulder.
Just to make the habit, and then remind yourself by looking at your watch that, yeah. But basically, I recognize it. So I've gone to an eye doctor to get glasses and the rest, right? But because my, I'm a little older, long a tooth, as they say. My vision is not the best, as good as it was. I used to have 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. And so the weird thing is that after I got glasses, I never wore them, because I started doing the breathing stuff instead, and sort of focusing on, because as they say, right, your brain sort of tunnels into the glasses and becomes more lazy because the correction is in the lens. And so I don't wear glasses really at all, unless like it's raining at night or something, and you need to see everything and all the roads and stuff, and I'll put on glasses for like 10 minutes to drive home or something like that. But for the most part, I'm fine, and because I've been breathing, and now this study comes out, and I'm like, yes, exactly that. It kind of feels like there's a that magic within us,
a healing quality to it.
Exactly, to correct things. Exactly, yeah.
And you're starting to believe in it more.
Maybe.
And then that when that happens, the healing comes more too.
Maybe. I'm just saying that
you're on a great journey.
I'm just saying there's a lot of. I feel
like you're probably going to be doing Tai Chi soon.
Okay, if I had time, I would be doing Tai Chi right now, or
like 2 minutes. You can put 2 minutes somewhere in there.
Okay, yeah.
Just do like a little thing. That's literally, that's how you get it. That's how I started, is actually a little 15-minute video, but I was doing like in between a patrol, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, I had a lot of motivation there, because fear was a great motivator for me. I asked God to give me courage, and he gave me danger. And there was some danger that kept me going on that routine pretty hard. I was doing it probably like a 15-minute routine, like 7 or 8 times a night.
Yeah.
For a year.
Yeah.
Or 2. And then I broke out of that, and that my life like completely transformed, because I was living in darkness all the time, doing midnight shifts for years. So it was like I was reborn or something, and my life has had such a turn around from that.
I remember. Good morning, sir. We would be on the Discord late at night, just kind of yucking it up during COVID, and Austin here was working a security job overnight, so he would be kind of patrolling the grounds and talking to us as he was doing the thing, and he'd come across construction worker or whoever somebody he worked with, and he'd be talking to us and just riffing like he does and spitting wisdom, and then he'd be like, "Good morning, sir." "Good morning, sir." And so we just knew that he was talking to somebody that he was encountering in the space. But yeah, I remember. It's weird, right? It's weird, these reality tunnels. And so think about you then and think about you now. I don't know what you're doing now for work, and you don't have to tell us, but right, things change. things do definitely change. And good morning, sir. Just about out of time. We're a little over, but your thoughts, because I appreciate you very much and love to hear what you think as usual. But go ahead. What you got regarding the rest of this? And good morning, sir.
Maybe I can try to keep this as short as possible. I recently have someone very close to me that has mastered Reiki and is now about to like get their master class thing for sound healing too. I posted something in the chat because it's that bell that I was in the Qigong video that I did 15 minutes a day. I'm gonna post that too right below that. But when you watch it, you'll notice it's that exact bell that is in that little mantra healing thing. And I just discovered it like yesterday. So maybe it was meant to be shared here. Well, I shouldn't talk like that. I'm playing smart. Of course it was.
Of course it was. So share the Discord. Appreciate that. If you guys haven't joined the Discord, come say hi to Austin and all these amazing people that are part of this. Everybody tonight that called in, every single person that called in tonight, because the phone line is down, they are active in some capacity on Discord. Come say hi. Come meet these amazing people. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. It's super simple. Like I said, if you're like, oh, technology, boo, hiss, there's a lot of really smart and amazing people in there that have gone through that technological curve of learning how to use it, and they can help you. Okay. And you don't have to talk. It's not like you hear us talking on voice. There's voice channels and there's a chat channel. You just type and you hit enter, and then like an old school chat room. It's everything inclusive. And yeah, for sure. Come join us and come say hi and come. And the only rule is just be cool and chill. Don't bring the agendas and, leave the dogmas out, and just let's talk about ideas and possibilities. And yeah. That's it. Don't be a dick, right? I mean, the golden rule. The golden rule. Absolutely. The final thought, my man. You were the best. Thanks for sharing the links. I see you dropping them in there right now. And those are in the Discord. So if you want to pop in there and come follow some wisdom rabbit holes, there's a lot of people sharing a lot of great ideas throughout the day, or even at night, because we have people listening all over the world and contributing all over the world. So I'm going to go to sleep in a minute, an hour and a half or whatever. But there's people in Australia. Shout out Squigs. Appreciate the call. That they're not in the same temporal cycles as me. The sun's over here. The sun's over there. So come say hi. Come hang out with us on Discord. And final thought, Austin. Go ahead.
I also posted a couple other things that I think will help anyone that's just starting out. Besides the right way of breathing, that's the most important. You should do 8 repetitions at the beginning of your day before you even start to think. You should already be automatically breathing in the belly, chest, top of the chest, and make that how you get out of bed. And that's definitely gonna significantly increase your lung capacity. You'll breathe calmer, slower, and deeper. Calmer, slower, and longer. All that. And I posted a video of the sound healing, someone doing some kind of sound healing. I think the tune has a healing quality to it. And they're doing a short routine here of Qigong. This is this is only 4 minutes, Mike. This guy, you're not going to be able to do it like this guy at first. He's stretching a little further than some of the other guys I see sometimes with some of the movements. But you never start out good. The first time I did it, I would have to say every single thing I did was a little bit wrong. Because I practiced it for years, and then I seen that. I was like, okay, I feel it now. It's quite the curve. There's just finding a super short routine, though, and sticking to it, like 4 minutes, I would say. I said 2 minutes earlier, but I'm asking you to do 4 minutes of breathing.
Yeah, well,
like
the
breathing thing first.
When I wake up in the morning, Austin, you're gonna love this. When I wake up in the morning for 4 minutes, I just panic. So, and if I have a plan, that's better. The 4 minutes after I wake up are the most panic part of my day. I'm like, oh God, where am I? What am I doing? Who am I? Well, where do I have to be? What time is it?
Yeah, because the mind will play against you so much when you're tired and you try to work it. It's not going to be as functional. So if you work with it If you slow your body to awaken with it, then it's just explains itself.
Self-explanatory. Absolutely. Yeah. Appreciate you sharing those links. Again, if you guys haven't joined the Discord, come say hi. Come meet these people, these amazing, smart people that are seeing the world in slightly different ways, but the same. And sometimes the same is good, and sometimes slightly different is good, and reality tunnels need to break down, or else we can't communicate with each other. Remember, all the news cycles that they try and feed us are nonsense. That's it. That's it. That's my final thought. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you very much. Do we talk about your YouTube channel, or are you hiding that from us for the time being?
For the time being, but I wanted to say your ability to network is your net worth. So virtues are important because of this. Because love penetrates all circles, hate does not cease hate, and ultimately it's all rooted to fear, like Master Yoda said. I believe that. I'm into that philosophy. I think it was pretty much taken from studying Shaolin anyway. I posted their virtues in there. First 4 to be expected are discipline, self-control, modesty, and benevolence. The rest is action, behavior, and mental. Let's see, what is it? I'll just read it real quick. The virtues of action, behavior, humility, respect, righteousness, trust, loyalty. The virtues of the spirit and the mind, will, perseverance, persistence, patience, courage. Now, the last ones I just said, guys, are just the ones that everyone's at a different phase of learning, so you're not supposed to, lose your discipline, self-control, modesty, or benevolence if you see anyone lacking in any of those.
Amen. Well said, all that. Appreciate it very much. Those links, by the way, all the stuff he just shared are going to be in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do. You're the best, brother. Let's wrap it. I got food to make, and I'll podcast to edit and all the rest of the stuff. You were the best. Appreciate you very much. When we met years ago, it's been a blessing. Glad to have you as a friend for so long, and to many more. Cheers to you.
Or be strong, be true.
Exactly right. Have a great night. That's Austin. Enoch on the Discord. Again, come join it. Come hang out. Come be cool and chill with the rest of us. Like I said, I'm not here trying to tell anybody they're wrong. Let's talk possibilities, because I think that's probably our latent superpower that has been propagandized out of us. Yeah, that's how I see it. Prove me wrong. Or not, because it's not a contentious space. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the world. It's important to kind of frame it appropriately for you personally. Not for me, for you personally. I have my own problems. Trust me on that. Everybody does. And that's the thing, right? So we can either commiserate or we can collaborate. It's a very big difference. Grow together or shrink together. Very big difference. Yeah. That's it. It's as simple as that. Anything other than ideas and concepts and trying to be better every single day and being in the moment. But don't forget that breathing thing. Recognize that it's so crazy, right? I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, okay, this makes some sense. Scientists solve a 100-year mystery. Breathing affects your pupils. When you inhale and exhale properly and breathe like an ancient human would and should, it improves your eyesight. What? We were told propaganda-wise in the World War II era that carrots improve your eyesight. Well, that was because they actually put radar on the British planes in the infancy of radar. So they were shooting down Nazis like crazy, and they're like, wow, these British cats are on the game. We can't compete with them. It was technology. But they said carotene makes your eyes better. And that was the secret. That's how they shot down the Nazis. It's the old Spitfires of World War II. It's such an incredible period for history and that type of stuff, nuance and whatnot. Propaganda, of course. Anyway, blah, blah, yada, yada. You see how my mind works. A thread comes, the thread goes, and then I'm done with that. If you want to help Troubled Minds, help our friends. As I always say, I say it so often on this show, and I mean it. If you're not following so many of these amazing people, all of them, you're hurting my feelings. Please, troubledminds.org/friends. Just click the friends link on top. There's a lot of really great people that have helped us throughout the years and will continue to help us. And I want to mention once again, because people get mad. Well, why am I not on the list? Well, because you didn't ask me. troubledmindsradio@gmail. Just send it. I'm not going to put you on there if you don't want to be on there. Some people, like Austin, has a YouTube channel, and I know his YouTube channel, but he said, please don't share it. Okay? You belong on this list. It's an in list, not an out list. That's why we moved it to the webpage. Please go follow all of our friends. And if you should be on that list, just contact me and say, hey, I got a social media. I want to help. And all you got to do is help me in the show 1 iota. Whatever that looks like to you. Okay? Simple as that. As we finish, this one's for Austin. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.